Baby, so go. Gadarangis. Baby, so go. Gadarangis. Baby, so go.
Gadarangis. Baby, so go. The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The high banks of the Kansas Speedway. When it was built in 2001, it was shaped at similar to the old Las Vegas, 1.5 miles, 12 degrees of banking, but it was since elevated in 2014 to be a progressively banked track and one of the most competitive tracks on the NASCAR schedule. That's where we find ourselves tonight, so welcome race fans to PTR TV. Tonight we are going to have for you the 100% Cup Series with their Division 2 campaign, race number 23, from right here at the Kansas Speedway. Of course, it's going to be myself in the booth giving you the calls for this one, along with Andre Grandbush here. I haven't had him on a Friday night, well, really ever, but a couple changes coming on here, so he's going to be helping me out tonight. So Andre, Kansas, like I said, with the progressive banks, is one of the more entertaining tracks to watch. Multi-groove, a lot of different ways to get around this place. Should put out a good race.
It absolutely should. It's one of my favorite mile and a halves on the circuit, and it's always fun. These guys always find a new way to run, a new line, and it's one of those tracks where, hey, if somebody's in front of you and they're putting you in dirty air, they're taking away your line, well, there's 3 or 4 other lines for you to move to. So that means the battles are going to be really intense because defense is not going to be as easy as it is at other tracks. We can see running right now in practice, fastest on the board is going to be Patrick Gitter with a 30.2, although I would expect qualifying times.
Well, this actually is qualifying, Andre. I know a little bit different protocol than usual.
Yes, it is a little bit different than D1. So top of the poll for qualifying, I suppose, 30.23. I would expect to get a little bit quicker. I know some drivers are hitting 1s in testing, so we'll see if anybody can get there. But very close lap times across the board. Randy Drumhammer, the slowest driver to post a lap, and he's only about a second back, and he messed up his lap. So closest lap that didn't make a mistake is Harville.
What are you doing, SO?
Oh,
is he trying to destroy the front end intentionally there?
I don't understand any of that. But that's SOB for you. He's putting heat in the tires. We'll just say that.
Yes, and because of that, I just like getting him in trouble sometimes. So we're going to continue following this to see if there is some new protocol that the Coke drivers will soon be taking.
No, I don't. I mean, this is his second lap. Yeah, none of these laps will be counted. With this being his second lap, it's pretty much a wash. I don't know if he's just intentionally trying to start further back, or maybe some aero damage on purpose. I have no clue what is going on with SOB.
I mean, there is the, as we learned at Chicago, the Benefield model of if you break one side of the car, break the other to even it out. So perhaps he was trying to break a toe ring to help his handling out, but it looks like he's...
Okay, well, that was his first lap, and it did count. So somehow qualifying scrutiny didn't say that diving onto the apron numerous times was against the rules. Let's see if he gained some sort of advantage here on lap 2.
Yeah, he did manage to put a 43-second lap time in, and this lap does seem to be of normal doing. So let's see what the time updates to at the stripe here. 1 minute left in qualifying. We have about 25 cars here on the evening. Looks like about half of them have run a lap, and all of that to qualify 11th, and then break.
Yeah, so I don't think we found the new qualifying cheese. I don't think that's it.
No, I would not say so at all here. So don't really have anything to discuss in the way of points here. I guess I could manually bring it up just for the sake of interest, because remember, here in D2 it's more about the practice and the getting the reputation to get your one license, but just for the sake of knowledge, Adam Benefiel is up by 50 over Jason Taylor, with Gitter, Heitman, and Marty being the top 5. But again, a lot of that is dictated by attendance here. And Adam has been pretty consistent here, kind of using the old Mark Martin strategy of the mid-2000s of getting all that experience in and then translating it into quality runs there on Saturday night. So that is what he's been doing. But that timer on the top left of your screen going down to a 0 value. That means we're going to start switching over to the race now. So want to thank everybody for tuning in. If it's the first time, don't make it your last. Looking on our fight to get to 1,000 subscribers here. So if you can help us out in that capacity, would be very much appreciated. But these guys are on that starting lineup. Let's go ahead and give you the PTR TV grid here tonight. Starting on the pole is going to be Pat Gitter with a lap time of 30.063, with Derek Heitman rolling off on the outside of the front row. Jason Jedi Taylor going to be rolling off in 3rd. What's he doing that far up? With Cameron King in 4th. 5th finds Kevin Zosiak, Wayne Grassi in 6th. 7th has Nick Alford, Randy Belk, a new name, in 8th. And rounding out our top 10, Chad Guttingsman and Corey Harville.
Outside of the top 10, it's going to be SOB with that unique qualifying effort. Stephen Thompson is going to be alongside him. Then we've got Edward Foster and Ben Tracy in 13 and 14. 15 goes to Randy Drumhill in the drum hammer. And Jeffrey Souza shows up to race, and he's got a picture even on the graphic. So there we go. Matt DeCiani, 17th. Lucas Hoitzma, P18. Running out the top 20 is going to be Jamie Knopf and Adam Benefiel.
All right, and then rounding out our grid here of drivers on the evening, Daniel Simmons in 21st, Pedro Palladino in 22nd, and we have Daniel Coelho, the Bitcoin Mobile, DL Lemon in 24th. Clifton Cockrell in 25th, Chad Kibbe in 26th. Looks like some more guys joined last second that I wasn't ready for. We got Damaris Hickenbottom in the post office ride in 27th, Daniel Lawallen in the 28th spot, and then 29th and 30th, Michael Deitch and Christopher Melton.
And that is going to do it for our starting grid. Pace car rolling out of pit road. He's got a field of drivers behind him ready to get this thing underway. And so many tracks we go to, Corey, and it's just gloom and doom. From the time the haulers pull in, the driver's like, I hate this track. I don't want to be here. I'm just here because I got to get points. This is not one of those tracks. I mean, look at this. 96 degrees. It's hot. The track's going to be slick. Maybe not the best driving conditions. And these guys were still excited going into this race. I really can't think of too many drivers in the field that don't like Kansas. We were kind of singing its praises at the top of the broadcast, and we as commentators aren't that far removed from the drivers. We have the same opinion, and these guys were definitely looking forward to this race, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, Kansas has undergone, whichever one makes more grammatical sense, some changes in the iRacing perspective, because this used to be a complete vice versa. This used to be a driver's hatred. Because this track was one lane, run around the fence. You literally could not do anything other than that. But with some grip updates here, the next gen having kind of a little bit more grip overall with the new tire and all that fun stuff, it has opened up the middle and bottoms to be more competitive and kind of in a pseudo pack style environment here. So that'll be interesting. Race details here on the evening. We got stages at lap 45 and 90, 4 sets of tires in the pits. Of course, specific to D2, there is one fast repair, but the incident limit on the evening will be 17, and any more than that, you will be out of the race. 17
incidents sounds pretty generous, but at a track like Kansas where the racing is very close quarters, and very aggressive, we may see drivers burn through those incident points pretty quickly, and they'll have to keep an eye on that, especially if they're riding the wall. I know iRacing is a little bit more forgiving than it used to be. It used to be if you scraped the wall, it didn't matter how hard you hit it, you'd pretty much get a 1x or a 2x. Nowadays, if you breathe on it just a little bit, it'll give you that 0x, just give you a little bit of a warning, like when you're going 7 miles an hour over the speed limit, but every once in a while it'll catch you and it'll give you that incident point, so we'll keep an eye on that, see if anybody gets incidented out, as we like to say here on the channel. But the pace car rolling through 3 and 4, lights are off. Patrick Gitter with a 30.0. I had predicted a 30.1. That's what I had seen in testing from some of these drivers, and down to a 30 flat. That is pretty quick. And it's not surprising given Patrick's speed this season all year long. Here it comes. Barney's got the green flag in hand through the Geico restart zone. 200 laps of Kansas is underway, 2x2 all the way through. Neither driver getting an advantage here. It's going to be a battle into turn 1.
Yes, it is heading off into turn 1. They are going to be side by side for that race lead, and it looks like to the inside is the advantage with them being slow. The inside lane is better on the initial start, but that outside comes into fruition once the momentum gets up to steam, which it is right now. Heitman used that outside lane. They're going to pinch each other down. You can see they're kind of funneling 2-3 wide through the back of the pack.
Yeah, a little bit further back, they are going 3 wide in a number of places, but up front it's staying side by side. Getter really railed that bottom, did a good job keeping the momentum up, but I think right now Derek Heitman is in the preferred location. He's got that higher line. He's able to pinch him down, scrub that momentum, and then because he's taking the wider arc through the corner, he gets the run down the straightaway. So I would think that he should be able to take the lead, but Patrick Getter is just really glued to that bottom. The fresh tires are liking that white paint down at the apron. He's able to hold on just a little bit longer. On board now with Jason Taylor in the 41. He's watching this battle transpire. He's not watching it. He's a part of it at this point. He is on their bumpers, just trying to choose who do I go with, who do I help. Right now, looks like he's going to stick to the bottom, maybe get a bit of a side draft to Derek Heitman, then come the straightaway. He's going to go right up top and just trying to work with whatever car is going. But the problem here, Corey, is that neither one is going. They're staying right with each other.
Yeah, this is another one of those situations where you do have to kind of think about your tires in the back of the shop, because you will go through the tires here, not at a chronic level, but the more you're putting that heavy wheel in to fight it on the bottom of the track, you are going to heat up that right front, make it a little bit unhappy. It could have a little bit long run issues there. You can see the 21 of Getter struggling. Keep the bit down there to the bottom, keep the momentum wound up. That'll give Heitman the lead. And now look at Jason Taylor. He's going to try to send third groove here. Let's see if this move comes to fruition.
Yeah, he is absolutely sailing it on the outside. That's going to get him the solo lead through 4, and he is going to lead this lap coming to 5. And behind him, Patrick Getter is going to have to try to shoot back down low, get underneath Derek Heitman. Derek Heitman says, nope, not this time, shuts the door. So they're going to stay 1, 2, and 3 as they run. Battle behind them for 4th, and we do have a caution on the speedway. Not entirely. Oh,
that is Pedro Palladino. That is Palladino.
Take a look at the PTR TV replay.
The Bitcoin Mobile. That's DL.
Uh-oh.
That was a right-hand hook for you.
That's a Kyle Petty, Davey Allison, Charlotte incident right there. Driver's side into the wall, going on board now with the L Lemon, the Bitcoin Mobile, and he's just gonna put the bumper to him here, and I don't know if he meant to. That could have just been
one bump, 2 bumps, right hand hook.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Corey. I'm no comment.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty with things that have gone on, so I will we'll just call it one of them deals, and how they want to fight about it later is how they do. Of course, they do have the backup car available, so Pedro wants to stay in the race. He does have that in his back pocket here. So just 6 laps in with 4 sets of tires in the pits. I don't foresee anybody coming in the pits. 45 laps for the stage should be well within range, so this should just be a another rack and stack 'em caution.
Yeah, I don't foresee anybody coming down pit road. The 4 tire limit is pretty stringent. We do have a few takers. I think this might just be fuel only. I guess we'll watch and see if the jack stands go up. But if they do, I will be absolutely flabbergasted, and I'll just blame it on the driver forgetting to uncheck that box.
Well, we're following Christopher Melton, who overshot his pit box. So Llewellyn 5 seconds in. Melton was 5.8. So just topping off for the last 5 guys. So again, you never know with how these races go. They do tend to, in stage 3, we did have a little bit of a hiatus. Last race we covered was Michigan, but they were kind of on a hot streak with having these things go green. So that little bit of extra fuel, you never know when it could come in handy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're further back in the field, there's really no harm in coming down pit road. If you're sacrificing a little bit of track position when you didn't have that much to begin with, well, then maybe that fuel will be a bigger advantage later on than that little bit of track position. But if you're up front, obviously Jason Taylor, Derek Heitman, Patrick Gitter, these guys had no reason to come down pit road, and the last thing they want to do right now is put themselves in a situation where they got to try to carve through the field to get back up to the lead, because they've already got it. They got clean air. There's really no reason to sacrifice that. I'm going to predict that we don't get too many cautions tonight, so I'm not sure how the extra fuel is going to come into play, but we'll have to wait and see. The thing that I was going to note there is the tire limit. 4 sets of tires behind the wall. That's pretty stringent for 200 laps at a track that can eat your tires, and I say can because it all depends on the line that you're running. But as we saw with the battle for the lead, you don't always get to decide what line you're running. Sometimes people are pinching you down to that white line. They're making you crank on the wheel, and you're just burning up your tires a little bit more than you would like to. So only 4 sets. You're really going to have to think about it.
Yeah, it makes us, Andre, go back to our SSRL Monday broadcast, where there's usually always one pit stop a race that you do have to make without putting some Goodyears on it. And kind of in the same vein here in D2, one of my favorite things about it is it does make the strategy come out. Do you want to save that set early? Do you want to put it on early and hope it stays green? I mean, there's a lot of different gambles to be had, but we're going to get stacked up, doubled up for a restart here. Coming to lap number 9, Jason Taylor will be the control vehicle for this one. Heitman to the outside, entering that Geico restart zone. And pushes here, very important here at Kansas, so we'll see how he does. He's going to get a huge jump over Gitter, even in 3rd. So Jason Taylor is going to get a good start and launch into turn 1.
And that is the difference. On the initial start, everybody's just waiting for the green flag to wave, so nobody can really get a jump. That's why they stayed side by side for so long. But on a restart, it's the leader's discretion. Once they get to that Geico restart zone, he can go early, he can go late, and everybody else is just kind of guessing when he's going to go. And so you're not looking for a flag. You don't necessarily have the same start time as everybody else. You just have to try to time it as best you can, and that means it's Jason's responsibility, or really any other leader's responsibility, to try to play some head games. Try to keep them guessing. Don't let them know when you're going to get on that loud pedal, and if you do it right, like he did right there, you're going to get out to a sizable lead. In this battle for 4th, man, oh man, Derek Heitman, he's been single file for I think about 1% of this race so far. The rest of the time he's been spent battling side by side. He finally gets clear, but things are not any easier for that. I'm trying to figure out who that is. Cameron King, I believe.
Cam King on the outside of the track. You got Wayne Grass. He used that apron down there, trying to go 3 wide for a brief moment underneath Guttigs, but he does think better of it. See that blue and black car? That's Kevin Zosiak, the one who we've cursed to oblivion in various different leagues, and he's having another solid run there in the 7th spot to the outside of Grassy at the moment. But see a little paint scheme flickering there. Things are updating, even though I didn't ask him to do it. That's just trading paints for you. But they will go ahead and have that battle. Cam King going to work into the 4th spot. Now he's on the outside of Heitman. Is Heitman saving the tires, or does he only have the hot lap speed? I guess we're kind of finding out here.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what the long-run pace shakes out to be for all these guys. It's one thing building a hot lap setup for qualifying and being fast on a short run, but at a track like this, you're going to have some drivers who just inevitably know how to run the track a little bit better, a little bit more conservatively, and that's going to pay dividends because there is so many different ways to run. It's not exactly clear-cut, straightforward. Some lines that you're going to run are going to have different advantages.
Whoa.
And speaking of lines, how about when 2 lines come together? Door slamming through the tri-oval.
That's a Benefield just behind there, 23rd. Remember, he does his last to first challenge here, so back in 23rd, not making some headway there. He did not pit, so I don't know if anything happened to him, but we'll, of course, be following that 83 on his charge to the front here. Let's go check out what's going on towards the front of the pack. You can see Jason Taylor does still have about a 2-3 car length lead over Gitter, but a chain of vehicles in his rear view mirror and a little bit of shake-up going there. You can see now Grassy to the top, King to the bottom, and then that Zosiak. He was to the inside for a brief moment, but somebody else changed lanes there, so that has fizzled, but still going at it for about 3rd or 4th, 5th spots now.
And it's going to be 2 wide, 2 rows deep there. Wayne Grassy trying to take a position, but he is going to concede that. Then on the bottom, you've got Cam King, who again, his number does not correspond to the number on scoring and timing. I believe he's driving the 53 on track, and it's being shown as the 192. as far as we can see. So that happens a lot in D2. Again, it's kind of a come and go as you please league. There's really not too many prerequisites. And
Speaking of come and go as you please.
Ooh. Look at that.
Speaking
Jeffrey's
of,
doing it.
yeah, the 999 ride. I don't think I've ever seen that number ever.
No, but, you know, oh, and in front of the 999, a little bit of smoke getting thrown up. Somebody got in the wall there. Can't quite tell who that was. It may have been Corey Harville. I believe he's the only one that drives that monster car. It's Corey Harville throwing up some smoke right in front of Souza, who, you know, out of the booth onto the track, I guess, you know, just switching up roles and doing pretty well.
Yeah, he offered his service. Whoa, speaking of, yeah, they're, I think they're kind of messing with the booth guy here. Kind of like, almost like how they race Haley Deegan because they don't like her, so they just kind of door her every chance they get. It's kind of the same respect we get as booth drivers coming onto the track.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can say I've seen it a time or two, but either way, he was able to keep her going. He wasn't, in the wall a little bit.
For the lead.
Chad Gunningman trying to make that
Grassy, he's trying to go 3 wide up top.
Yeah, he sailed it. You saw that rear end step out a little bit too, and again getting a little bit loose. I thought for sure he was going into the wall there, but he gathers it up. So new leader Chad Gunningsman is going to lead that lap, takes it from Jason Taylor, and Wayne Grassy behind him, just driving like a madman. Here he goes again to the wall. Not going to get as big of a run this time, but tell you what, Wayne's on a mission.
Yeah, going on a mission for Wayne Grassy. I don't have any details for him, but we'll see what he's capable of. He has not had the best of luck, really, in D2 in the time we've covered it, or D1 when he is there either. So good to see that 3 car have a solid run here, but still a lot of time for that to change. So we hopefully do not jinx him out of his rub. You can see a lot of guys here in single file formation, Andre. So again, what I talked about with Kansas, it changed from an iRacing perspective. It goes from ring around the wall to kind of a normal sense of ringing around the bottom. But just as I say that, speaking of ringing around the bottom, Chase and Taylor using the bottom to try to get the lead back.
And he is going to get side by side, not quite able to take it yet. You're going to see him go all the way down to the grass, try to make the tri-oval as short as possible. Does not get clear, although he does scare Chad Gunningsman into a bit of a panic lift there. I think Chad figured he was coming up one way or the other, so he gave him in position. But now a huge run into the bumper. I think Chad was not too pleased with the tri-oval situation there. We'll take a look at the PTR TV replay. Unfortunately for Chad, this attempt at retaliation kind of backfired on him. He lost some time, but huge run here. The 41's going to slide up, and I mean, the 98 just did not lift and put them both in the wall. That opened the door for Grassy.
Well, in fairness for Taylor kind of, he didn't know what he wanted to do. Like you either got to shut the door or you got to leave it open. He kind of left it awkwardly. And, from bad to worse.
Yeah, speaking of shutting the door, Chad Gunningsman tries to shut the door. Somehow saves it, but a few drivers involved, brings out the second caution of the night. We'll have to try and figure out exactly. I mean, we saw it live, but a bit of a closer look here to see exactly what transpired. So Chad Gunningsman on the outside. He's battling with Wayne Grassy. I mentioned that the door got open for him up in second place. And going down the straightaway in.
Spatial issues there. Grassy
car high, Wayne. Car high.
Yeah, Grassy had him kind of pinched off into. Let's see here. We just kind of use lanes. Just use the lines on the track, for example, here. And I don't have my telestrator up right now, but you can see Grassy was kind of in that fourth lane, which was being utilized, of course, by Gunningsman there, but didn't really look like any serious damage on either end of the spectrum here. Just enough for Barney to put it out.
Yeah, everybody able to gather it up. I think a couple of them drivers, if they did get any damage, they do still have fast repair available to them as they had not taken it yet. Some cars coming down pit road either for a little bit extra fuel or perhaps some damage repair. That is going to give the lead provisionally to Wayne Grassy. He did not come down pit road, so the number 3 will go to the lead after sort of hooking Chad's car.
Yeah, I think we have up to 10th, 11th. I'm just trying to see who the last one. It looks like it's going to be the Drumhammer there. So Randy Drumhiller 15th. So about we even got DeCunha, so I'm trying to figure out how far back we're going for these pit stops. Looks like it may even be all the way back to 20th.
Yeah, they're going to be sacrificing quite a bit of track position here, and the drivers who pitted earlier, I guess, gained a little bit, but it's all just sort of shuffling out. There goes the 41 on the pit road exit, rejoining.
Let's just kind of get the full scoop here. So 13.2, so that's a... I mean, I'd have to imagine that's tires, so...
Yeah, that sure seems like it.
A little bit early in the race, I would think, because you have the stage. So this is how I usually take D2, is you take your tires on the first stage, you take your tires on the second stage. Third stage is usually long enough that you have to pit, so that's usually your third set. And most of the time, there's always one left over, kind of a strategy set. Now, burning your strategy set midway through stage 1, a little bit of a risky decision, if I do have to say.
Yeah, especially with how aggressive these guys are racing. I kind of recant my previous statement that I didn't think we were going to get a lot of cautions tonight, because these guys are driving like men possessed. I mean, they're out here just wheeling it, and I would foresee a few more opportunities to take tires as this race winds down. I don't think we're going to see too much of a long run to the finish unless things change, because right now the trend is pointing towards everybody driving the wheels off these cars and trying to make the most of every lap, which does not tend to fare very well for the drivers who burn through their tires too early. The lights are off on the pace car. Wayne Grassy in control of the field. That's a sentence I have not said in a very long time.
Oh, don't get yourself in trouble.
But he will be out and away as soon as the pace car releases him. If he can get to a solo lead, I would not doubt that he can keep it for a while here. He had a pretty good car. Showed that he was in contention with that 41 and with Gunningsman. Now Gunningsman's got a little bit of damage. The 41 further back in the field. So let's see what he can do. Rolling down into the Geico restart zone. He's going to wait till the very last second, right at the edge of the restart zone. And that is going to get him the solo lead. Derek Heitman trying to take it back up top.
Yep, heading off into turn 1. Grassy's going to go high, going to go low. They're going to kind of go nearly 3 abreast there for a brief moment. For that second spot, Jeffrey Souza trying to use that outside lane, but Heitman, he will possess that spot. You got Zodiac in third, Souza back to fourth. Souza trying to rock that high lane. He's trying to use the Larson lane, the Gant lane, the Riddick lane, whoever you want to name it after. He's going to try to get a whiff on the outside of Zodiac. Shuts the door very tightly, does Zodiac, but Souza still trying to work it. Look, the gaggle back here.
Yeah, that is a hornet's nest if I've ever seen one. Not a comfortable position to be in for any of these guys. Into the corner. We're almost going to look at 3 wide here. And maybe a little bit of contact, maybe not. Everybody's sorting it out and just trying to find their lane on this straightaway. Man, oh man, so much going on right there. Cars weaving up and down. Now this is on board with Jason Taylor, who we believe took tires. And it looks like he's going to work on passing the 44 Randy Drumhiller.
Oh, what do we got going on up here? We got a battle for the lead. There goes Heitman to the inside of Grassy, and then here comes Souza trying to get to the outside of Zodiac there. So we're basically pace lap formation here, and that's Hoytsbutt trying to breathe a 3 wide there, but don't think better of it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if a move looks like it's not going to pan out, there's no harm in backing out of it. I would say you got a long way to go to the end. But that patience is going to wear thin further we get into the race. The driver's going to be less willing to lift. Wayne Grassy does fend off that attack from second place Derek Heitman, keeps the lead for at least another lap, forces him to try to regroup and try all over again. But look at that, Jeffrey Souza to the bottom of Hoytsma, tries to make the move, but just scuffing away that momentum on the low side. And now again for the lead, Derek Heitman to the bottom, using that white stripe if he can get there. Can't quite get to the stripe, but he's still going to carry a lot of center speed. Does he clear himself? No, he does not get clear through the travel. He's not even going to cut it short here, which may have helped him quite a bit. But a nice, healthy push from third place Lucas Hoytsma may be enough. He's clear now. Does he slide up?
Let's see if he is clear enough. It looks like he is. And he's going to be nice. He's going to be Mr. Nice Guy. He's going to leave the door open there. Now, Grassy's going to get that momentum built up, but I don't know if he's going to be able to sustain it through 3 and 4. The outside does tend to be a little bit more advantageous here. And, he's going to be Mr. Assertive Guy there. Shut the door, and I don't think Grassy's going to have a comeback.
No, I don't think Grassy can defend against that, and it was a very close move, but it worked out. It got him the lead. Now Wayne's kind of trapped on that high side. Lucas Hoytsma trying to get second place now from him. And then you got Jeffrey Souza waiting in the wings as well. A little bit of contact, 3 wide further back. Adam Benefiel, he was back in 20-something last time we checked on him. And now here he is up inside the top 10.
Yeah, he did not pit, so he's still on his OG tires. So he just used that strategy by staying out as that prime opportunity for track position. Only 15 more laps to the stage, so good call there. And I'm still kind of wondering how it's going to work out for everybody else here, but Lucas Hoytsma trying to get underneath Grassy here. Looks like he got a little bit free there on that inside. I think that maybe the tires starting to show their age here, lap number 30. But Grassy's really playing that outside defense. Hoytsma's going to be 90% clear, but he needs to be 100. Oh, he got that extra 10%. Now he's up to P2.
And while he took second place, Adam Benefield just gained 3 car lengths on Jeffrey Souza in a single corner. He is going full send right now, on board with that 83. Look at the cars ahead, and he is closing in side by side for the lead. Lucas Hoytsma on the outside, Derek Heitman down low. And to third goes Adam Benefiel on those original tires to that painted white line. Now, that's what I was saying earlier. If you can get there for just a moment, it will help you rotate. You got to be a little bit careful. It can get you sideways if you use it too much, but Adam did it just right, and that got him up into third place.
Gosh.
Oh,
they're trying to wreck here. They just haven't pulled it off here. That's Zodiac in the middle. Oh, call. Live. Oh, they saved it.
How? How on earth did they save that?
Oh, I did a lot of updates, so I don't have my Ricky Rudd sound on this scene.
I mean, that was just... He spun in front of the field, and then he didn't spin.
Yeah, I'm going to quote DW at Talladega when Kyle Busch did something. He's like, you cannot do that.
You cannot do that. Well, somehow they did it.
Add that one to the soundboard.
Up front, Lucas Hoytsma still leading the way, but out a little bit further back. These guys are, they're trying to cause a caution.
Who was that? That's, couldn't quite make out who that was. That was the 89 of Nick Alford.
Nick Alford with a really good recovery there, and he's lucky that he has as much runoff on this back straightaway as he has. We'll take a look at the replay. He's right behind SOB. I think he got a little help from behind.
Yeah, we'll get an exterior look here.
Yeah, did he get help from behind, or did that thing just snap?
Black car may have just had a little door tap to him there, but caution on the speedway.
Oh boy! Well, they were trying when we cut away. They were trying.
Let's up. Wah wah.
Ba-dum. See what happened to Wayne Grassy here, number 3 machine. He's a little bit further back, starting to kind of slip slide through the grid. And
speaking of, SOB was
slip sliding through the grid and slip sliding through SOB's kidneys.
Yeah, well, I got a look of not SOB's kidneys, but his perspective through that incident. If I can manage to do things of proper nature here.
Oh man, what a hit that was.
Yeah, so Grassy to the top, he's to the bottom, all looks good, Wassy. Grassy, it's a little, yeah, you could not even foresee that coming. That's just...
No. It was hard to tell he was even loose. It kind of looked like he was just coming down, and then it went around and...
Doings afoot here on the front straightaway.
All 3 of those leaders, and SOB going to be the first taker, although further back there may be more. Yes, there are coming down pit road. Does Wayne Grassy come down?
Well, it's a mystery.
We'll never know. We got the privacy curtain thrown up.
All right, so we got Foster, we got Taylor, and again. Now, make sure, buddy, that you don't check 2 sets of tires here, because sometimes you just forget. And then you're like, oh, poo, I accidentally took an extra set of tires incidentally here. So let's hope that 41's jack does not go up.
Oh, no.
Now, again, his first pit stop was 13 seconds long, which we don't have data. Well, let's take a look here. Maybe he just topped up. 14.7, so maybe that he just fueled up first time.
I mean, maybe, but there is enough variation. I have seen 4 tire stops in the 13-second bracket, and with it being a high 13.7, it's possible. We're not 100% sure.
Well,
the thing is,
he's here, so let's just ask him.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
If I can manage to not newbie here with Discord, a little rusty. All right, there he is. Yo, Jedi.
Hello.
So I seen you pit twice. You burning tires today or what, bruh?
Oh no, I got put in the wall by Chad and at the start there, so I went and fixed that damage, and then I came back down, you know, just making sure everything's good and gravy. We're gonna see what's gonna happen right now.
All right, so you still have 2 sets back there then?
Oh, I got 3 sets in the box.
Okay. So you did only take fuel only the first time. We didn't see it, so we only guessed with the number. But damages, you say it's just okay, or you think it's still workable?
Yeah, it's still workable. We still got that fast repair in the pocket, so we'll see how when and where I use that.
All right. Well, you're on one to go, man. It's informal, so we just have fun here on the Friday nights. Good luck. Get back at it.
Get a leg up on the field, Jason.
I'm gonna win this dang stage. Oh, I almost cussed again.
I think you did.
All right. Bye.
Well, rip monetization.
Well, we're not there yet because still 60% of our subscribers will not hit the button and get me to 1,000. So, boo to them, but thumbs up to the ones who have done it.
My point remains the same. Rip monetization. It's not there either way.
Okay, yeah, fair game. So we're going to have 6 laps to go, or 7. I never get the math right. But we're battling to 45 here for the stage as 76 having a little connectivity issues there into the restart zone. There goes Hoytsma on the accelerator, getting us back underway. And they will fizzle back out, at least the top 4. Jeffrey Souza still fighting there on the outside, outside of Pedro Palladino, who I believe he was in one of the caution flags.
Yeah, he was in the first caution, so definitely making a good comeback there. Maybe making good use of the fast repair if he took it. Up into 4th, Corey Harville. Corey Harville a little bit further back is going to be side by side with that 63 Ben Tracy. Tracy rocking that high line, trying to make that thing stick, but just losing a little bit of ground to the 92. Behind the 92, you got, looks like Matt DiCiani trying to give him a bit of a shove. Matt's been pretty quick in the Saturday night races lately, so would not be surprised to see him work his way a little bit further towards the front here in D2. For the lead, though, Adam Benefield trying to take it away from Lucas Hoytsma. He was driving so hard out of that corner, you could see that wheel spin. He got a little bit sideways, had to gather it back up, and now trying his darndest to take it away, and you can see that right front jacked up. The suspension setup on that car is aggressive, but just not able to take it yet. Lucas holding firm in that lead position. Back to the bottom goes the 83. Closes so much with the center speed, but coming out of the corner, the momentum you gain running that high line is so significant, and it just helps that defense so much.
Yeah, exactly that. The later you go in the run, the more that you need that outside with all the banking and the grip that it does have up there with the progressive banks. Big wiggle there from Hoytsma. That'll help Benefield up in his endeavor to get that lead. Try to get the last to first challenge, get stage 1. Well, he's only 3 laps away from doing that. He will get the lead, but here comes the 76 down the inside. Hoytsma not fighting at all on the outside. He's not giving up, rather, but he's going to have to because 76 really shut the door on off too.
Yeah, it was an aggressive move, but into the wall goes Derek Heitman. That's going to give an even bigger lead to Adam Benefield as these guys continue to battle for second place. Nick Alford there right behind the 72. And Lucas Hoytsma from the lead to now battling to cling on to a podium, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to defend it here. That 89's been pretty good so far, working his way up through the field. Then Pedro behind him. Not too far back, you got Kevin Zosiak, which, again, I'm still not used to seeing him in that bright blue paint scheme. But then Jeffrey Souza in the 999. Of course, he's actually in a different number, but he's showing to be pretty quick. We got 2 number 4s right next to each other.
Oh, forever. Oh, look at Heitman trying to squeeze on that outside of Alfred there, and he will do so, I believe. But you can see there on the graphic, 23 lap fresher tires for Alfred here. But Benefield doing a whale of a job hanging on for the time being here, coming to what will be the white flag for the stage.
Yeah, I'm not sure Adam's going to be able to keep him at bay for another lap. The difference in tires is just going to be too much. 89 is going to get down low. Benefield's got to get aggressive with the blocks, and he does. He's lucky that Alfred cut him a little bit of a break there. I think he could have easily stayed in the throttle and made Benefield's night a little bit worse, but he lifted, decided to try again in the corner. Not going to get there. I don't know. Adam might be able to do this on older tires. I did not think he could. He's got a 3-car length advantage into 3 and 4 for the final time in stage 1. Rocketing around the outside, the 89 makes one last Hail Mary for a stage win. Might try to do a bit of a crossover down low, but the 83 throws a block. Drag racing to the line, and Adam Benefield somehow holds on with old tires to get a stage win. Last to first.
Yeah, he should. I mean, I guess Alfred, if he knew that move was going to work, he probably should have did it with 2 to go in the stage. Again, the stages don't really have any advantageous factors to them when it comes to points. Most people aren't in for points, but again, it all carries over as knowledge for tomorrow night. But Benefield, again, let's get the specific on it. 20th to first. A lot of it due to the split strategy on that first caution. It is worth noting Jason Taylor did get up to 7th there. He talked about having that damage. Let's try to get a good look here at that number 41. At least the fender looks pretty good, so I don't think he's going to have to queue a backup car, but he does have it available. So now the interesting thing is going to be, Andre, is the pit strategy game. Let's take a look at the graphic. You can see all the different laps represented on the left of when their last pit stops was. Obviously, you expect Benefield, Heitman, and Hoytsman to come in, but then you have the Jason Taylors at 10 laps. You have the Belks and Kings at 25 laps. You know, it's going to be interesting how this is going to play out from here. Again, racing at 90 now.
Yeah, we got a lot of differing strategies, not just one or two, but it looks like 3 distinct strategies across the field. And what? Excuse me.
Logic equals...
Now, hold on a minute. Is he trying to do last to first for the second stage? Is he going to pit next time by?
Loading thoughts 1%. No, I really have no idea. So, I mean, what's a fuel load here? Max, maybe 65, I'd say, is the absolute stretch. So if he does 65, and then, what's that, like 130? You're still 70 to the end. So, I mean, do we get quickie cautions here? I was going to say, I don't know if we have enough time to grab them, but if you want to, feel free.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's maybe... Well, let's wait and see if he comes down pit road, because I genuinely, I think he might just be trying to do last to first. I don't want to mess up his pit road entry if he does come down.
Well, he's always in YouTube chat. Come on, Benefield. You know, you could just give us a little YouTube insight here.
Yeah, if he doesn't pit, I'll pull him in for just a moment. Even if the lights go off on the pace car this time, I can put him back up before he gets green. But we'll just wait and make sure. So, it would not be the first time I've tried to interview somebody while they were pitting, and
I'm sure that works well.
Yeah, generally not. And I was correct. He's doing last to first. Down pit road he goes.
So what was the actual? Because I'm still confused at what was to gain.
Nothing. I think he just wants to try to go from last to first again. That's the whole thing.
Okay, fair. I thought there was like some kind of... I don't even know where I was getting at, but that does leave us 3 guys on the track. So Jason Taylor, who pitted 12 laps ago on that second to last caution. Cameron King has been, he is 27 laps in, so a little bit longer of a stint there. And then you have Chad Kibbe in the shoe. Oh, he does have, is there a number on that this week? Oh, there is a number on it. He's in the shoe, and he is running in the 3rd spot.
So the field getting jumbled up just a little bit. Jason Taylor.
I have an explanation from Adam Benefield. Woo. That is a verbatim quote.
Well, so, I feel enlightened. I understand entirely.
I mean, I'm sure if you uncode the binaries, actually it would just be a 0 and a 1. Or a 1 and a 0. I'm not quite sure how the binary system works because I didn't pay attention in coding class here. But let's see if we get the 1 to go this time by. This is going to be stage number 2. So with this, you have to think about this, Andre, because of the amazing NASCAR rules with stages. Yep, 1 to go. Stage 2 is effectively only going to be about 39 laps now by the time we get going back racing. Oh, okay. Let's chat under green. Adam Benefield wants to go SRX style here, Andre.
All right. Well, you know, we can always do that.
I mean, there's no rule book here, but that we can't. But so, all right. But we'll see how it stacks up here. I don't really foresee any issues with the tires there for Jason Taylor. 13 laps. He has a fast car. We'll see with Cam King. He was up there in the top 5, top 10, so I know he has the speed, but the handling and the agility of those 28 lap old tires, well, I guess we'll have to find that out there. Of course, Alfred, he did pit, so he is there in that 89 with 4 freshies on, we would have to imagine here. So see what happens here at 25% distance in tonight's race, coming off turn number 4, waiting for Jason to get on that loud pedal. And we are gonna get back to green flag racing, and here we go at the Kansas Speedway. Taylor's gonna get that jump that he needs, and oh no, that's gonna be into the wall there in the tri-oval for that was Cam King. So that safer barrier does throw some guys off here, so hopefully there was no damage from that, but everyone's gonna funnel by. Kibbe up to the 2nd spot, and you have Nick Alford there in 3rd and 4th. Cam King, as we just saw, he hit the wall, and then everybody's starting to funnel around. 93 tries to get to the outside. Pedro Palladino looks for a 3 wide move in the middle, and he's going to keep the car in that spot. They're going to go 3 wide here into turn 1. Plenty of space to do it here at Kansas.
Plenty of space, but they were trying to make it tight. They were sandwiching him there a little bit, coming down and coming up respectively, kind of pinching him, but he was able to get through, shot the middle, and that's going to gain him a couple positions a little bit further up the grid. Now behind the shoe of the 23, Chad Kibbe, so see what he can do there. The 93 slipping back a little bit there, but everybody getting single filed and sorted out except for that number, I want to say 37 of Zodiac, it looks like. He's side by side with Cameron King. Cameron's been side by side with quite a few drivers so far tonight. He's never really been single file. Mars Hickenbottom inside the top 10 behind them in that 00, currently part of this battle.
Yep, just behind there, hanging on to the edge of the top 10. That's Clifton Cockrell. He's looking for 3 wide. He probably had the momentum to sneak it up there 3 wide. Thought better of it. Does get a little bit tight here on the corner exits with the way the safer barrier has its transitions here, which of course hasn't been a thing in real life in about 10 years, but we'll get it one of these days. But do have to be careful there on corner exits because of that safer barrier. But DeMar is starting to lose a couple spots. That's Stephen Thompson there just behind. And you can see the drum. Actually, that's not the drum hammer. That is the 49 of Randy Belk. But DeMar is going to get stuck all the way to the top of the tracks as he's dropping out of the top 10 now. But let's take a look at what's happening up front. It looks as though Alfred all over the back bumper of Jason Taylor now. And you have Pedro Palladino working the top of the track there in 4th.
Yeah, Nick is really trying to get that lead. He's being aggressive with Jason. He got to the bumper a couple times. But Jason, you know, he's been pretty defensive so far tonight. We saw how he was racing earlier with Wayne Grassy and Chad Gunningsman. So we don't expect him to give this lead up very easily. He's going to cut that apron short. The 89 looks high, looks low. He is going to get to the bottom here. It's going to give him a good run through the corner, but I would expect the 41 to get a huge amount of momentum up on the wall. They stay side by side. The 89 actually has a better corner than I was expecting. If you get a little bit of draft help here, it may be the lead. He just has to send it in deep enough to get clear, but unable to do so, at least thus far. The 41 staying nose to nose, drag racing to the line, I think. Yep, looks like Jason's going to lead this one just by a nose. But I'll tell you what, Nick Alford not making it easy. He is right there, making things uncomfortable for Jason.
Now remember, this is 11 lap different tire situation too. Let's take a look at the lap times and see if there is a difference there running these different lanes here. Alfred about almost a tenth faster than Jason, and I think this is going to be what it takes to clear. It will be. Now, Taylor's going to have momentum. He's going to look to the top of the track, but he's not going to have enough to sustain a charge. So now 89 is going to go to P1 here on the board, and let's just take a look at other battles going on track. Matt DeCunha, who is in the top 10 now, and not really having a Matt DeCunha D2 run. Usually he's a top 5 driver, but he's struggling to find his spot here even in the top 10 thus far.
Yeah, you know, maybe Kansas is just one of those tracks. I think every driver has those tracks that they are inexplicably good at, and tracks they are inexplicably bad at. I know I have my fair few. Maybe Kansas not a track that's vibing with him, or maybe just missed the mark on the setup. Could be any number of things, or who knows, he could just be pulling an Adam Benefiel, not showing his pace early on, because why bother? Let him think you're slow, pick it up at the end, and see what you can do on board now with Jeffrey Souza. As we mentioned, Adam Benefiel, you know, I'm going to call his bluff. He wanted to talk under green. Let's pull him in. Mr. Benefiel, do you have a 200-mile-an-hour copy?
Man, it must be a boring race if y'all are interviewing a back marker.
Yeah. No, you said in the chat you wanted to talk under green. Well, here we are. You got SOB behind you, but kind of a clear windshield out front. How's it feeling?
Oh, we're just chilling. Since I didn't do the first challenge the way that Corey wanted me to, I figured I'd come back here and give it a shot since he said it got handed to me because of pitch strategy.
Hey, no, don't twist my words. I said that you got the spots easier because everybody pitted, but it was still a challenge. So this was on you.
No, I haven't done any, honest to God, I haven't done any laps this week. So this new update, I wanted to kind of see how I needed to drive the car for tomorrow night, and it kind of put me in a situation to where I started pushing real hard and we got a caution, and then after we went back green right there was only like 12 or so laps to go, so I started to push, and I just trying stuff for tomorrow night, really.
Had a car in the wall back there, but yeah, we saw you hold on with those older tires against the fresher tires of Nick Alford, and it looked like, even though he had the momentum, he couldn't quite make the pass. What is the tire wear out there at Kansas? I mean, how's it feeling from a tire perspective?
I mean, geez, you should know by now it's freaking talent, son. I mean, what the hell's tires? No, it's you kind of gotta, I guess. I really don't know. I'm just driving it like I normally do, and it's working out. But what I've heard is it kind of takes a little bit of you got to kind of take care of them at the beginning to have something on long run, and then especially here, you're never right in the middle. You're either too loose or you're too tight on exit. So I don't know. We'll figure out what we are.
All right. Well, we will put you back with your team, and hopefully you can do the last to first again. But, you know, maybe do it the right way this time, Adam. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Y'all get your notebooks out and pens. We about to go to school here.
All righty. Well, thanks for your time, Adam.
All right, buddy.
All right. Benefiel out of the booth. And,
Somehow I
all
always get blamed. Always
your fault.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, used to it at this point, but we've seen something that we haven't seen, well, at a maximum level yet, Andre, and that is single file racing. You can see front of the pack, Nick Alford has pulled away now from Jeffrey Souza, who is up to that second spot. So again, that 999/4 car doing some numbers here in his return to the driver's seat here, at least in a broadcasted perspective. But a little bit of battle in their end of the top 10. That's DeCunha, Foster, Gunnigsman, I believe. Remember, he had a little bit issue earlier, but starting to spread out here. About 20 laps in and about 25 laps to the stage.
Yeah, again, stage 2 going to be a little bit shorter just on account of all the caution laps we burned. So these guys maybe getting a little bit more antsy to get a little bit of track position. And we've seen a few drivers up in the wall, which, you know, I don't know how the track temp has really changed throughout the night, but it seems like the handling has gone away. 93, so it's actually cooled down a little bit. It was 97 at the top of the broadcast, so Maybe these guys feeling a little bit more grip, getting a little bit too bold. I don't know, but we've seen a few drivers scraping that wall, including Jason Taylor. There's Wayne Grassy with his brand new red pinstripes. Is it vinyl? Is it the blood of his enemies? We don't know.
Let's see. Oh, Wayne Grassy he still hasn't used the faster pair, so he did have an incident, but all is well, at least in that capacity. Going a little bit further back here, we got SOB, we got the drum hammer, we got that guy, Cam King. Sorry, I get the number, it just doesn't click right away when the doesn't match here. But oh, let's see what's going on up front. Heitman gets around Jeffrey Souza there for second.
Yeah, he's going to make the move and make it successfully. Heitman has had the pace, I think, to lead all night long. He's just never quite gotten there. Gets up to second place, starts battling for the lead, then it kind of stalls out. And Nick Alford with those slightly fresher tires and some of those guys behind him. That advantage will start to go away. The tire wear will plateau eventually, and I think we're starting to get to that point closer and closer. But the battle for position heating up through the corner. Looked like Heitman actually gained quite a bit. Our 4 leaders on the same tire strategy, and then Kibbe behind him on 32 old lap tires. But up front, man, it looks like Jeffrey Souza, Derek Heitman, just getting a little bit closer to each other, kind of slinkying back together, and we'll see if anybody can make a move for it. Lap time differential there for Nick Alford, it was a 31.398, and for Derek Heitman, it was a 31.326. So, just a skosh faster.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of almost going flat out, 3/4 of it's 700ths is pretty favorable there. So, but now you're at that range, just as everybody says. Once you get to 3/10, I mean, you could go from a second to 3/10 in the snap of your fingers, but going from 3/10 to a pass is basically like doing something that is very hard. And I don't have an analogy in this exact moment to describe that, but you can infer what would be a very hard thing to do. But Souza trying to hang on there, but it looks like Heitman just has a little bit too much steam. And again, Jason Taylor, those older tires and some wall contacts, he's all the way back there to the 17th spot.
Yeah, that has been a huge, huge problem so far. I think after he got into that wall, he's feeling the effects. I don't know if he bent a toe link, if he bent something in the steering rack, or what's going on with that 41, but not having a good time. In front of him, there are battles abound. The number 63 currently in a side-by-side battle. He settles that out through the corner. Then behind him, 2 more drivers, the 35 and the 67. Ooh. Oh, and he's going to clear himself just barely. He's either got a really good spotter or he is brave.
Yeah, I take a little bit of A, a little bit of B, and I think that's what the situation is there. I'm just kind of going through the rest of the fields here and trying to see where the battles are. Of course, the top 2 separated by about a 10th or so. You can look here on the rear shot. Oh, we got something going on there. Let's check that out. That's going to be Gitter and Hoytsma getting around Kibbe there, getting around the shoe, who is, as we saw, on the oldest tires on the racetrack now. But 07, I think he led some laps earlier. Gitter was their pole sitter, if memory serves. Both of them trying to get back to their spots up front, start battling 5th and 6th now. I'm not quite sure who I take in this battle right here. They seem to be about even.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. They've been really close in pace, and they both have led some laps tonight. So I would say it's a fair fight between them, any way you cut it. But it looks like Lucas does take the advantage, at least for the time being. And look at that behind him, Matt DeCunha. We talked about him. Usually a top 5 threat in D2, and lately he's even been a top 5 threat in the Saturday night races. So we kind of expected him to gain a little bit of track position. He's working on it. He's up to 7th, so doing better than the last time we checked. Maybe figuring something out with the setup, maybe just getting used to the track. But that number 4 doing pretty well. And this is a cluster of cars, the 63, the 67.
Oh, there's Adam.
Oh, Adam Menifield's shooting the middle. He makes it work. He gets around Chad Gunningsman.
Yeah, Gunningsman, another one who had
led some lap.
Yeah, well, 2 of them. Remember, he had some issue on the back straightaway that, again, memory just does not go back 75 laps. I don't remember. But look at Benefield taking it down to the flat there.
The issue's name was Jason Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
For him. But, yeah, Adam Benefield, 3 wide on the flat. He's going to get clear. Man, oh, man.
Yeah, no corner entry for him right there, and he'll pay the price for it. Still sliding, and he's going to be stuck back in the middle.
Yep, he's staying 3 wide. He's not getting out of that situation, so he's going to have to try to sail it in deep again or just let out the loud pedal, but I don't know that I'd want to stay in this 3 wide situation. Door of that 35 machine, but it gets him clear. That was enough at least, but I'm not sure that 35 is going to be too pleased with that move.
Yeah, the 35 almost had contact there with the 67. Again, that's Steve Thompson there, but that's going to be Benefield back into the top 10 now. He's going to be able to pick off Tracy here with relative ease. Let's see if he does the old Kansas slider, as Carl Edwards deemed back in 2008 with the video game move. Of course, that was on the flatter configuration of Kansas, which is my personal favorite, but I'm in the minority on that aspect there. But Benefield gets up to 10th, and now he has a 2-second drive up to Stan Simmons in the 9th spot.
So that is definitely good progress on his last to first challenge, trying to do it the right way, do it legitimately this time. Here's a couple of cars: SOB, Wayne Grassy, Jason Taylor, aka, yeah, I was going to say something mean there, I'm not going to say it, but SOB racing on the high side, trying to stay behind his teammate there in the wake of the draft. Started 11th, dropped back a few positions so far this race. It's not been a fun night for SOB. Got his clock cleaned a time or two, got into the wall once or twice, but lap 79 out of 200, he could definitely make a comeback here.
Yeah, still be not quite at halfway, but again, waiting for that stage. Aggressive move back to the top there. Waiting for that stage at lap number 90, so about 11 laps before that. Looks like we may have another battle up at the front of the pack here, while Heitman is pulling away over Gitter. Alford and Souza battling there. Looks like Souza may start. I think Souza is the one trying to get by Alford there, but that inside not being advantageous. It's going to pull Hoytsma, Zosiak, and I think that's Diciani into the mix as well. Outside seeming to be a little bit powerful now, but you can still make a move if you fight hard enough on the bottom.
Yeah, the key to using the bottom lane is that you just got to get clear. You got to throw a bit of a slide job like you're racing on dirt. Just get clear, slide up in front of them, take away their momentum, and hope that they don't cross you over, which we have seen a couple crossover moves so far tonight. Kevin Zosiak doing his best to get around Souza on the low side, but gonna scrub away a little bit too much momentum, have to fall back.
There's a slider.
Oh, Lucas Hoytsma sender in deep in the 89 in the wall. That could be enough to get him around, and it is. So that's going to be one more position up the pylon for Lucas Hoytsma, up onto the podium now in 3rd. And now he's going to have to deal with a few more cars. Nick Alford has Souza, Zosiak, and number 4, Matt DiCiani, all coming up on his backside. Oh, in the wall.
Yes, Souza, one of those guys that absolutely no fear about the right side of that car. He is not, some guys will run about a foot off the wall. Other guys will run about 6 inches off the wall. And it looks like Souza, one of those well, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Yeah, they are right on each other's bumpers there. I mean, this is a very, very close battle. Everybody using every lane they can. You got the 4-car in the middle. You got the 4-car up high. Oh, man, 2 4-cars is the number 4 of Souza. Gets a little bit sideways. He's able to gather it up.
Up front.
And for the lead.
Gitter gained some time. He has got that outside, the elite ultimate difficulty outside lane has it working. But now because he's up here for the lead, now he has to go where the lane is. The lane is down to the bottom. But Heitman's going to try to pinch him down there, and it'll work successfully. It'll buy him at least one more lap, but he got a whale of momentum surged up through 3 and 4 last time by, and it looks like the opportunity is going to be there. Let's see if he can do it again.
And it goes back to what you said earlier, Corey. You can be half a second faster a lap even, but translating that additional speed into making an overtake is not always cut and dry. It's not always that easy. You have to hope that the door opens for you. Maybe sometimes you got to pry that door open, as it looks like Patrick Gitter was contemplating going to the high side, but just not quite enough room. I think if there was about a millimeter more space, he would have sent it there, but he's going to the bottom now. He looked high, didn't work, looking low. Let's see what he can do. The 76 rocking the safer barrier just up on that highest of high lines. The 21 tries to get a bit of a side draft. That's going to help a little bit. Now he has an opportunity here to try to throw a slider. Oh, into the wall goes the 76. If he doesn't throw a slider here, I don't know what he's doing. He's got to try to capitalize.
Oh, ain't gonna be enough. Ain't gonna be enough. They're both gonna go off the corner here. Great stuff here. Now let's see. It's kind of a guessing game. What's gonna happen? Heitman not giving him the top anymore, so now Gitter's gonna have to fight on the bottom. If he can remain door to door, it's easier to pull the slider off in 1 and 2, but I don't know if he's going to have enough. He can't stay on the left rear, or can he? No, he's going to fall back in line.
Now he's going to have to enter single file, which means he's really got less of a chance to throw a slider, but he drives it down the banking a little bit. This could be a good line for him. It's going to get him right up on the bumper and set him up for a good run down the straightaway. Let's see what he can do through 3 and 4. Does he follow the leader's line again? Yes, he does. Sticking right with him in that high line, just about half a car nose further down, trying to get a little bit of clean air, but for the most part, just emulating that line, staying single file here on lap 87. Remember, stage at lap 90. To the bottom, big move. He's trying to throw the sliders, but he's not quite clear yet. He's going to have to try to lift here. Don't slide up into him, and he is going to fall back to second place. A little bit of lap traffic further ahead. I don't think they're going to come into play with this battle, but that cost him a ton of time there, Corey. He had to give a huge lift coming out of the corner.
Ultimately, Heitman saw what happened. He saw that Gitter was making that outside work, gained almost a half second on him, so what did he do? He brought it to the top. Even if Heitman's car isn't as good on the top as Joey Logano and Harvick played a few years ago, all you have to do is play the aero game. And if you take his air away, even though he's faster than you up there, he's not going to be fast enough when you make him go off of his groove here. But when it comes down to the white flag lap, you can see Heitman right up there within inches of the fence. No room for mistake, but he hasn't made one yet. We'll come down to the white flag for stage 2.
So this is going to be Patrick Gitter's last chance at a stage win. I think he got into the wall a little bit there. That lap car still just lurking in the windshield. I don't think he's quite close enough to directly interfere with this battle, although a little bit of dirty air may affect it as Patrick Gitter slaps the wall, and that might be all she wrote. That is going to be the stage win wrapped with a bow tie to the 76 of Derek Heitman. And Makeeng back there, he was giving him all the room. He was in the safer barrier before he even got to him, trying to give the leader the space. And Derek Heitman is going to win stage 2. Patrick Gitter is going to take second place after a hard-fought battle. Lucas Waitzma third.
Oh, there it is. A little bit delayed. I was worried I got the stat wrong there. We're good.
And Matt DeCunha, fourth place in that stage. He was moving.
Yeah, he definitely was showing me up for saying that he's not having the best run. Typically, that's always what happens, is when I tell a guy that he's running slow, he manages to find some speed here. So, of course, it's not a rule that works for everybody, because, you know, we have tried it with some guys that it has not worked favorably for. But we're going to come down and take the pace car here. I don't know where it is. They're definitely having to catch up to this pace car. There it is on the back straightaway, and I would expect everybody in the field coming down for 4 tires and fuel here. And then, of course, that still gives us over 100 laps and another pit stop coming for stage 3, which is the strategies.
Yeah, and there really wasn't that many incidents here in stage 2, so it seems like maybe the tides have turned a little bit. The thing has gotten a little bit cleaner throughout this race. So if stage 3 were to stay green, that definitely opens the door to some fuel strategy, tire strategy. I have to see exactly how it goes down, but at least for this caution, I would expect everybody's coming down pit road, get fresh tires, get some fuel, and there they go. Derek Heitman and the rest all down on the apron. Adam Benefiel not able to pull off the last to first challenge this time, so I would assume he's going to pit with everybody else, maybe put himself in a better situation, but there they go. Nope, never mind. No, he's still out there.
Yep, and that's 44 laps in, so he's going to do exactly what he did last time by, and presumably try to go dead last, but at least this time we'll have 150 miles to try to regain those spots. But we'll go ahead and see who gets off of pit lane first. Looks like it's gonna be Heitman, so he's gonna get that battle off pit lane. But we are gonna take this opportunity to step aside, take our first commercial break of the race. First break. We'll be back with you for the restart, so stay with us. And we're back here on PTR TV for round number 23 of the 100% Division 2 series here at Kansas. Just completed our stage 2 break here. Heitman and Gitter, basically everybody on 4 freshies and fuel. Didn't see what happened to Jeffrey Souza. Something happened to him because he is in the pits, but oh, I thought we had more time. I thought we were going back in the sub-by. So, whoopsie daisy. But yeah, something happened to Jeffrey Souza there.
Go off this time, but yeah, Souza in the pits. I don't know if he just had enough fun for one day. We didn't see him involved in any incidents, and the car doesn't appear to be damaged, and it is turned off. He's not idling, so he might be out of the car, maybe getting a nice sub sandwich, maybe a hot dog from the concessions. I don't know, but it might have been all she wrote for the number 4.
Well, it showed one thing, that he could still drive, so kudos to that. Good to see him. I know we haven't covered him, and I don't even remember the last time I saw him. It was definitely not 2023. Might have been sometime mid-2022 last I saw him drive. So good to see him have a shot to show that he can still wheel one of these things around. But let's see what happens here now that we got Heitman and Gitter on the front row. Dan Simmons third. Zosiak and Sean O'Brien, top 5 on equal strategy. What is going on there? That's perplexing, but let's see what happens here on the restart.
He's got some good track position. We'll see what he makes of it. Pace car pulls in, and Derek Heitman is going to be the starter of the race. Let's see where he decides to get on that loud pedal in the Geico restart zone. About halfway is going to be the answer we're looking for, and he is to the solo lead. Behind him, battle for second, Dan Simmons might get alongside for second. He doesn't quite. He gets out of the loud pedal, so that is going to allow Patrick Gitter some breathing room. Side by side for fourth, however, as SOB looking down low, might be trying to take third. It looked like he was going to lose a position. Now he's trying to gain one.
Yeah, I think Zosiak may have scraped the safer barrier there, as Dan Simmons there having some connectivity issues there. Not what he wants to see, but so far things have re-stabilized there. But SOB trying to work on that bottom of the track. Zosiak just behind, and I even see Damaris Hickenbottom at the back of the shot there, working his way back in the top 10. So things have shuffled here as we close in on halfway.
Yeah, the running order kind of all over the place compared to where it was earlier tonight. The strategies have all sort of shuffled the field, and everybody is still on slightly different amounts of tires, I would say. Some drivers like Adam Benefiel really held out, and then other drivers decided to take some early, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. Kevin Zosiak trying to fight it out for that 5th position, or 6th position actually, as Edward Foster in the 35 is using that high line, trying to carry a little bit of momentum, maybe take 5th away. A little bit of a wiggle out of the corner might scuff enough speed to keep Kevin Zosiak in the fight. And it does. Behind him, look at this. They're going too wide all the way. And oh my goodness, Zosiak sending it into the corner, closes in on the car ahead.
Yeah, it looks like
that is going to put all these drivers in a tight situation. Wayne Grassi trying to make a bit of a comeback here. This is every man for himself further back in the field.
Yes, it is. And I saw the sun starting to go down here, at least kind of making a little ominous reflection. I don't know if that's getting these guys' eyes at all, but the 35, Ed Foster doing a good job. Oh, Clifton Cockrell there back of the shot, the light blue car. A little bit of wall contact there, and a little bit more wall contact there. So all should be well. I don't think any serious harm, as he is battling with Damaris there on the outside of the top 10, but again, this battle that you see here, this is all basically 3rd through 10th or so in this huge battle here. Let's go 3 wide again. Foster going to the outside, Thompson in the middle, SOB hanging in that top 5 on the bottom. Heitman has pulled away by about half a second over Gitter.
Yeah, that's a pretty big lead, and that is something we've not seen tonight. We've not really seen anybody who gets to the lead really walk away with it. It seems like there's always some contender behind him that's just keeping pace. And right now, Derek Heitman trying to get the biggest lead we've seen so far, as everybody just scrambling for position. And that's helping him, because these guys going 2 and 3 wide, it's only hurting their lap times. It's only slowing them down. And a big moment there, trying to stay off the 35. The 06 came down the track, nearly got into the 24. Everybody got a little bit sideways, but nobody actually spun. So that's the good news. The 63 now pinched against the wall. Cars ahead, cars behind, cars low. He's got nowhere to go. that is the story for many drivers on the track right now, because with the way they're racing, there is no breathing room. Wayne Grassi trying to stage this comeback in 11th. He's trying to breach back into the top 10 after his issues earlier in the race. We know that 3-car had some speed. We saw him lead some laps, fight for a podium position, and then just kind of had that self-spin there. But, you know, sometimes the car gets away from you because it's loose. But as they say, Corey, loose is fast, so we'll see what he can do here. It's everybody still in front of him. Look at that, the 24 and the 63 SOB is getting a little bit aggressive with Ben Tracy, but again, no issues thus far.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Kansas. Nice wide track, but when you race like this Talladega style, you're still playing it in a matter of inches here. So some drivers are having some very close calls, but so far so good here. Now we are in the back end of tonight's efforts. Lap 104, coming to 105 here on the board. SOB was the 4th. Starting to drop back here, starting to see as these laps go by, 12 laps since the caution or so. Starting to see these laps go by, that outside slowly becoming more used even earlier in the run, Andre. I think we're getting a lot of rubber down with all this green flag racing. Bottom is getting hot and slick. That top has a little bit more freshness to it, a little bit more grit in it, compounded with the banking. I'm seeing more guys go up there earlier in the run than we've seen it all tonight.
Yeah, and that is going to happen. I mean, you're going to lay down some rubber, the track temp's going to change, and the preferred lane will kind of migrate across the track. Some of these drivers preferring the high line, whereas we did see a lot of drivers using that bottom at the beginning of the race. So we'll have to see who can adapt, who can't, who's got a setup built for that, and who's got a setup built for the bottom. It looks like our race leader's got a setup built for the bottom, because right now he can go anywhere he wants. Derek Heitman has got clear track ahead, clear track all around, and he's still rocking the bottom. Usually when we see somebody get out to a solo lead, they take the high line, but no, he's hugging that white line, using the low side, and his lap times are pretty good. 31.1 to a 31.2 behind him, 31.2 as well.
Look at back there in 9th spot there, Andre. Look at that 9th spot.
31.02 for Wayne Grassi, and also a 31.0 for Chad Gunningsman. So 2 of those drivers are absolutely flying right now. We'll see if they can keep those momentum.
Yeah, 2 of which, both of those drivers involved in incidents. Did they pull off the incident damage reward there? I guess we'll find out. Yeah, Wayne Grassi 2 laps in a row. Actually, not quite. Chad Gunningsman in the 30s. So that 98 starting to show a lot more pace here on the back end of the race. Let's take a look here with his onboard statistics. Let's break the question. Nope, he did not use a fast repair after that little damage faux pas. So the pit crew doing a fabulous job on that 98. He's doing a good job driving it, getting himself back into the top 5 here on pure speed.
And we knew he was fast. He was battling for the lead when he had that incident. It was just a bit of a block from Jason Taylor and a little bit of aggression from himself that led to a bad situation, but that doesn't change the fact that that 98 was quick at the start of the race, and it's quick now, so we'll see what he can do. A little bit further back, speaking of Jason Taylor, there he is currently running at 19th, so ever since he got that bit of damage from the wall, fell back through the field, he's not been able to recover. He's got the 89 behind him as well, which is kind of surprising, because we saw Alfred contending for the lead back in stage 2 and in stage 1. So I don't know if he got some damage when he got into the wall. I know we saw him scraping that safer barrier. And, you know, the toe links on these cars can be a little bit... Ed
Foster going for P2 now.
Yeah, he's going to try to use that high line. That's where he's been all night long. I've not seen him go to the bottom once, but it seems to be working out. And he's got the 21, Patrick Gitter, trying to defend on the bottom. But, again, the further we get into this run, the harder it's going to be to run that low side, because you're going to have to lift more and more, and the driver that's carrying the momentum around the top, they're going to be able to get clear of you easier and easier. Chad Gunningsman behind Foster, and oh my goodness, Patrick Gitter said, all right, you got around me, I'm not letting Chad get around me. So he shot up the track through the bit of a block, and then back to the bottom for the corner. He's just trying to figure out where he wants to go, and what a send there. He actually gets back alongside the 35. Oh,
something happened to him. He didn't get a good run off of 4. Now he's dropping like a lead brick there.
Well, that was a panic lift, Corey. He got a little bit loose, I think. He had to let off the throttle, and that cost him a ton of momentum.
Yep, now he's going to go from battling for 5th or 6th down to outside of the top 10. And when we're in pack formation, like you said, if it was a panic lift, it was just a little soiled undies moment there, but that little bit of reaction, overreaction, if that cost him all those spots. But then going back to the top of the shot here, beginning of the shot, Foster is still not fully clear of Gitter. Gitter has that inside working. Foster's trying to go ring around the rosy on the outside, and it has been working, but I wonder, as we know here on iRacing, typically the longer you run the outside, the more you're eating those tires up. So I wonder how sustainable it is up there for Foster on the top.
Yeah, that is a bit of a question. I don't know if they've changed anything with the tire model in the new update. I doubt they have. They never seem to. But either way, in the short term, it got them an extra position, so up into second place. But the problem for all these guys is, while they're battling and while they're dealing with each other, they've got Derek Heitman, who is now out to a 1.1 second lead. He is far and away. This is the biggest lead we've seen so far tonight. Just a dominant showing here in stage 3, and these guys aren't doing a whole lot.
This is not an advertisement. Adam Benefield having some massive connection issues here, and he may be coming to pit lane. So some struggles there. Well, I guess everything's fine. I saw him blinking in and out on my telemetry, so the last to first challenge may not be coming into fruition. But going back to this battle against Foster, I think the good that got him to second has been done there, used, and now he's kind of being the traffic brake, holding up these guys just as fast as he went by and gained all those spots.
I'm just watching this battle. The 21 is able to get back to the low side, and I think this is going back to what you said. That high side eats away at the tires, and that's where the 35 has been all night long. The 21 using that low side. It may not be faster in the short term, but if he's got just 3 or 4% better tires on the right side, that's going to be a huge advantage. And on the long run, he should be able to get this position back a little bit further behind him. The 40 of Clifton Cockrell and the 63 of Ben Tracy. These two side by side trying to fight it out for a top 5 position. And look at that, Wayne Grassy growing ever closer to the front of the field, a little bit ominously working his way forward and just picking up a position here, position there. SOB going to force the issue on the bottom, pick up not just 1 but maybe 2 positions there. Takes 8th, now trying to take 7th. Let's see what he can do through the corner.
Yeah, maybe he was saving the tires a little bit earlier as he worked his way back. With Cockerell having some issues there on the top in 3 and 4, was going to lose a bunch of spots. Goes from about 4th or 5th down to 8th. As we are now 25 laps into this stint here, so we just have to put our crew chief hats on for a second now. I think probably 60 is probably as far as they'll go realistically, Andre, so that puts them another 35 laps. So what's 35 plus 118? 153. So yeah, they should easily get to the end on 1 more stop. Fuel window probably opens right around lap 140. So by that logic, these guys that are struggling on the tires maybe could be a cue for an early stop. Looks like we're dropping off about a half second from our best lap times.
Yeah, so the tire's starting to fade away just a little bit, and that is definitely going to affect how these guys approach this track, what lanes they run. Again, the bottom is fine when you're on fresh tires. You can kind of hook it and maintain some speed, but once that car gets a little bit tighter and the car wears tight, you're going to want to take the high line and kind of give yourself a little bit more room to rotate. So these guys are going to be shaking it up a little bit, but none of them have anything for Patrick Gitter. Now 2 seconds in the lead over second place Patrick Gitter. Derek Heitman just, I mean, I don't know where he found this speed, but he's walking away with it. Stephen Thompson in the 67.
Yeah, look at that.
He's got a 31.4. Patrick Gitter's got a 31.5. Derek Heitman's still rocking 31.3. He's one of the only drivers in the top 10 to do it. The next driver to do it is actually outside of the top 10. It was Lucas Hoytsma in 11th, and he didn't even get one that time by. So he is just consistently clocking some of the fastest laps in the race.
Yeah, speaking of Hoytsma, I don't remember his full race story here. I know he was up. Let's see where he qualified, just to give me a little bit more context there. 18th, and I know he worked his way up to the top 5, was battling up front, but the strategies in the pits, maybe whether intentional or not, back to the back of the field. So we'll see where he does fare. Of course, coming into tomorrow's race, which we will be covering via PTR TV over on 100% YouTube channel. Hoytsma, I think he's top seed, Andre, or he's very close to it on the Saturday show. So this is another one of those situations where D2 practice comes really, really, really valuable, because you learn what you need to do coming into the playoffs here for the Big Boy show.
Yeah, anything you can figure out in D2 is going to be a big help, whether it's just something about the track and the way you're going to drive it, maybe something about the setup that you don't necessarily notice. It's one thing to test by yourself and make a bunch of laps and try to shake the car down, but sometimes that car just feels different in an actual racing scenario, whether it's the lines you're forced to run or the dirty air that you get put in. So there's no better test than an actual race. And that's exactly what D2 is providing for a lot of these guys, because as you mentioned, getting into the playoff time, it's not really the part of the season where you can afford to make mistakes. At this point, you've got to have a good week every week, and the best way to try to do that is to get as much practice as you can.
I don't quite remember the exact playoff schedule, because I just don't remember it, but I do know we do have a road course and Talladega in stage 2, so the better stage, round 1 you have, typically the better you do fare, so going to be important to have those good runs. And again, 2.5 seconds. It looks as though Heitman's starting to fall back to normality. Last time by he ran at 82 to get his 45, but already has 2.5 seconds in the bank. So before anything else happens, I think we can do a brief through the field here. Looks like the time may avail us to do so. You got Derek Heitman lead this thing down in dominating fashion thus far. Pat Gitter running in the second spot. SOB must be saving the tires. He's going to be third and or fourth. And then the other driver who's going to be third and or fourth is going to be Steve Thompson. We got Dan Simmons in fifth. Ben Tracy currently running in the sixth spot. Ed Foster dropping back there. Remember, he got up to second, but now he's going to be hanging on for either seventh or eighth. And then the other seventh or eighth is going to be Lucas Hoytsma there in the 07. Wayne Grassi in ninth, and then Kevin Zosiak battling for 10/9.
A little bit further back, Randy Belk currently running P11 in that 49. He's right ahead of Chad Kibbe in the shoe. Kibbe's been up inside the top 10 so far tonight, now just a little bit further outside. Clifton Cockrell, we saw him up in fourth not too long ago. Now he's rocking 13th position. A little bit further back, Nick Alford, he's been all through the field. He led some laps. He was in second. He was in third. Now he's in 14th, so definitely has some speed. Matt DiCiani finished stage 2 in fourth, so definitely seems to have a bit of a long-run car. We haven't got to the long run yet. We'll see what he can do. Damaris Hickenbottom, haven't really talked about him a lot tonight, but not having a bad night. He's gained 12 positions from where he started. And then a little bit further back, Adam Benefield, he had some connection issues which have kind of hindered his last to first challenge. He got out of the loud pedal. I think he was contemplating pitting, but then he didn't. He's going to pick up one more for 16th. But back in 18th, Randy Drumhiller, the Drumhammer, he's been having a rough night. Maybe it's the new number font. Is that a new number font? It looks new to me. But he is currently down 3 from where he started. Dan Llewellyn, it's going to be P19. He's gained 9, so not having a bad night. And then rounding out the top 20, Jason Taylor. He's fighting a wounded horse right now, I think, and he's in 20th. All
right, and then he's rounding out the last 5 guys still on track right now. Chad Gunning's been another one who led laps, and issues have brought him back. Danilo Coelho, 22nd. I don't think I've said his name once here on the evening. DL Lemon, I think he was in the first caution of the race. Then we have Corey Harville, 24th, and Cameron King. We saw him up. You can see the starting spot there of 4th, but the race just has not gone his way. You got Souza, Melton, Palladino, and Knopf all retired from tonight's efforts.
So not too much attrition, despite how aggressive some of the racing has been. We still got a lot of cars on track, and really not even that much separation, save for our leader, who is now 3 seconds to the good ahead of Patrick Gitter. SOB, he got up to the podium not too long ago, and he has stayed there ever since. And he is trying to reel in Patrick Gitter. I think he may be gaining ever so slightly, but it'll be a while. Then we got a battle back here, the 63 Ben Tracy. he's got Steven Thompson breathing down his neck trying to take a position, and the 0-7 of Lucas Weitzma. So he's got some pretty fierce competitors back there. He's doing everything he can to throw some blocks, try and keep him behind.
Yes, they are. That is 5th, 6th, and 7th. Somebody in the fence there. I think that's Foster, who has had some wall action there. Not of the advantageous variety there. Just a little bit too high in 3 and 4. Will lose the spot to, I believe, Zodiac and Belk there. Just back of the shot. DeCunha is racing with the shoe there. That is just outside of the top 10. And then Benefiel back there. Oh, that's going to be Nick Alford into the fence there, just in front of Benefiel off of turn number 2. Hard to evade there, but Benefiel had enough space, able to make that diversion there to get around. Grassy just behind. So we just finished Darlington. Of course, Darlington known for the Darlington stripe running right around the fence. Well, Kansas, I don't think we have a a truly advertised Kansas stripe, but definitely something a lot of guys will walk out of here after tonight's race with.
Yeah, I can't say I can name too many drivers that have not gotten into the wall. And of course, you can see a little bit of damage to the walls coming out of the corners specifically. And that is actual damage from the cars that renders, I believe, from iRacing. So you can kind of see where these drivers have...
It's pretty baked.
Is it? I thought that it left scuffs on iRacing.
No, we ain't that fancy yet, but soon.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that NASCAR Thunder 2003 does something that iRacing cannot?
Mm-hmm. They actually had color. They actually had colors. If you had a red car and you hit the wall, you'd have a red scuff. So on and so forth. But yeah, that's all pre-baked graphics.
So yeah, iRacing continuing to disappoint me, but life is one big disappointment. In the meantime, the battle here between these drivers continuing to kind of drag on. They're not really able to get too much room. The 67, Steven Thompson, he did get that position. He was able to get around the 63, but things not letting up for Ben Tracy, because now he's got Randy Belk in that 49, trying to get down to the quarter panel if he can. Maybe redirect some air to that spoiler, slow him down.
Ooh, that's a send it.
Ooh, yeah. Big slider here. He's going to get clear. Let's see if he takes it. And yes, he does.
Yeah, took it very cautiously, which is a good way to take it there, but there you go. I was going to say, I knew there was a car there, but it disappeared for a brief moment. And out of Benefiel, I think he literally just turned on the jets here, but I think he just turned them on a little bit too late. Now he's back in the top 10. Getting by Foster there. Foster, remember, he was just in second. He drove the literal and proverbial wheels off that car, and now there's nothing left. So if you're a Foster, you are just itching and praying for this fuel window to open, because you are dropping all the way back to 11th. But Benefiel back 7.5 seconds. But if you omit the battle to the lead and just kind of scope out the battle to second, he's only about 3 seconds behind second. So, I mean, he can still salvage something good out of this, especially if he has a good green flag cycle.
Yeah, he may be able to gain a little bit from this as he works his way around Ben Tracy. That's going to put him into 9th place. So, the connection issues, they had him a little bit further back in the grid. It's been an up and down race for Mr. Benefiel, but he's got some laps left. 138 out of 200. We got a pit stop on the horizon, like you said. So keep your eye on that 83. Up front, SOB, Sean O'Brien, he has closed in a little bit on Patrick Gitter. I'd say about a tenth or two since the last time we checked. So just consistently chipping away at a lap time differential there. Wow. Patrick Gitter with a 1,000th of a second advantage, but we'll see what it is this time. I think SOB may get it.
3 1,000ths.
Oh my goodness. This is...
Can you say equal without being dead equal? We'll keep this up for one more lap just for the sake of interest. I don't think this one's going to be good. He did lose a fair amount of time there.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be within the thousands here. Unless he really sails it, he's going to take that middle groove. Patrick Gitter gaining a little bit on the high side, I think. Gitter's going to have
look at the gap in the middle going back down. No, now it's going back up. Let's see. 3 times magic. 650. Nope, got about a half tenth, which is still not much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's really not a whole lot. He lost some in the first half, gained it back in the second. Here's some side-by-side. Ben Tracy, Matt DeCunha. Matt is on the high side, just trying to pick up a few more positions, get back up front where he was in stage 2. But Again, you got to think pit stops are on the horizon. We're on lap 140. We had a stage at lap 95, so we are about 45 laps in. You can go 65-ish laps on fuel, but I would have to imagine 150 to 155 is going to be the sweet spot for a lot of these guys. They're going to want to split this final stage more or less in half. So not far away, and you're going to want to be thinking about strategy if you're behind the wheel.
Adam Benefield still having connectivity issues there, so heard someone downloaded a Nickelback song last time. Maybe someone's downloading some classic Metallica, or what else did I download back in the LimeWire days? I'm not quite sure, but hopefully that internet issue does solve itself, 'cause especially we don't want to see it have issues tomorrow night. So hopefully it's just temporary, but fuel window is open here. Now we're closing in on about lap number 50 for these guys. Can make known, for as little as it matters in the grand scheme of a 2.5 second gap, that Gitter has been sustainably faster, has taken 3.3 and taken it down to 2.6. So if that is actually worth anything in the grand scheme, or maybe it's just hype and playing that cautious, it is worth at least noting. Last time by, Gitter just about a 1/10.5 faster, so maybe the super ultra long run speed goes to Gitter, but very seldom does that actually come into fruition.
Well, you know, occasionally. Maybe we won't bank on it, but we'll see. As Derek Heitman continues to lead the way, 2.5 second advantage. Gitter just closed in a bit over the last few laps, but I don't know, not quite enough so far. Down a little bit further on the pylon. Here's the 89 and the 35. That's going to be for the 11th position. 89 made a swing at it, but it was a swing and a miss. He had to get out of the throttle. The 23 machine now looking to maybe make a move here. He went full send. That was a good move, but unfortunately not enough momentum, at least right there. And then Ben Tracy, man, he is really trying to force the issue, getting aggressive here through the corner. And again, full send in the shoe. He gets clear. Is he going to slide up? Yes, he will. That was a textbook pass.
Yeah, these guys have a whale of a race here, back towards the back of the field. Another good race here. We saw Belk and Thompson battling for a fair portion. They're right on each other's door. Thompson pinching Belk down all the way to the flat there rather than using the top of the racetrack. And it will hold this momentum up, but it is a little bit riskier, especially on these older tires. And I am just looking at that gap, Andre, first to second. We're down about a second, probably in about 5 laps. So Gitter really, in this ultra run here, is starting to make some serious headway.
Yeah, and that's interesting to me because Derek Heitman has not really been abusing the tires too hard. I mean, he is obviously running faster than, or was running faster than most of the drivers on the track for a while. But he's been on the he's been on the bottom of the track most of the night, which does save the tires, whereas Patrick Gitter has been preferring the high side, which you would think would be a little bit more abrasive. But no, you know, Gitter has a good long run car. He's closed in a little bit here and there. SOB is sticking right with Gitter, so they're all starting to come together here as we approach the pitting sequence. Adam Benefield, P6 behind him. He just got around Kevin Zosiak and picked up another position. But all these guys starting to get a lot of separation. It's been quite a while since our last caution for cause. And now we're seeing who's got good long-run cars, who's got good short-run cars. Adam Benefield obviously has a very good long-run car. Patrick Gitter seems to have a pretty good one. Whereas Derek Heitman, Lucas Hoitzma, you know, Lucas Hoitzma was right with SOB at one point, fell back a ways, so maybe a short-run car there. And if this is the way the race is going to shake out, you better hope you have that long-run car.
Now, with this pack, if a caution's going to come out, it's going to come out in this little quad set here of Zosiak, Thompson, Belk, and DeCunha. They have been going at it, but going at it in very clean and exciting manner here. This is all just at the conclusion of the top 10. But again, fuel window is open. We'll pull up the stint graphic so you can see on the ticker. Looks like Damaris did pit on the bottom there. He's the first one to draw blood. The 56 laps, we're going to estimate between 60 and 65. So the window is open. And this race does have, knock on wood, that green flag flare. So every lap that you pit early is, let's take a look here at, we'll use Pat Gitter. Well, actually, we can't use him because he's coming to the pits, but let's pull up very quickly before he pits. The lap graphic, just about almost a second a lap now that you're going to give up every time that you stay out when a competitor has pit.
And that is going to be a huge difference. And wow, okay, say goodbye to the green flag pit sequence. The 92 is already on pit road. But
I'm trying to get cues here.
oh, Gitter was on pit road as well.
I mean, they didn't accidentally keep like incident cautions on, did they? I'm trying to see.
No, I don't think that even works for oval.
This is going to be a big stretch, folks, because I really don't have any leads on this one. So typically, I mean, I'm just going back to live footage here. I typically have good ways to infer what happens on to trigger a caution. I can see if that a guy is slow, or I can visibly see smoke, or sometimes my telemetry will straight up tell me. I'm getting literally nothing, so we'll call it debris, I guess. Number 40, I'm being told here. Lucas Hoitzma watching the broadcast live here, so let's see what we can find for good old Clifton here. Oh, yep, here it is. But he saved it so fast. Again, this is why it didn't show up on the telemetry. Going to the pits. That bit fast.
Oh, and then Damaris just barely squeaking by. That was a close call.
Let's take this from the top-down perspective. It's hard to tell because this track is so reflective. Yeah, once he got all four on the flat, the right rear is hooked.
Yeah, his problem was staying on that transition too long. The car was already getting unsettled, and when he hit that transition completely to the flat, that was enough to send it over the edge. But everybody coming down pit road and out and away by now. Derek Heitman maintains the lead. SOB is going to be second. I tell you what, let's throw it to one more break. We'll be back for the drop of the green. You won't miss a thing.
And we're back here on PTR TV for the conclusion of D2 at Kansas Speedway, where we just had a caution just at the beginning of the pit cycle there. Clifton Cockrell on his ride down to pit lane had a little bit of issue there. Spun right in front of Damaris Hickenbottom, no harm, no foul, but it did cause a caution. Throw off some strategies a little bit there, and it'll rack them and stack them, and we'll get going for a restart here into the Geico restart zone on the loud pedal, and let's get back to racing.
And a huge jump for the 76 is going to give way to a battle for second. SOB did not get on the throttle at all right there. He fell back to the 83 almost immediately as Lucas Hoytsma tried to make a move forward on the bottom. He's able to hold on to the position, but just barely. I mean, he did not get a good jump. Lucas back to the low side here. And now Adam, I would not be surprised if Adam's not much of a threat here in the early part of this stint, because as we've seen time and time again, he's more of a long-run driver at this point. He's got a long-run car, and everybody's on fresh tires. So if he's able to make way here, I will be really impressed. Everybody kind of single filing out front.
Yeah, single filing out as we everyone has maximum grip here, particularly as track temp starting to go down even further. Let's get one more analysis of that. Started at 97, down to 84, so big chunk has been taken out there. A lot more grip to be offered, so that will only facilitate these guys probably having a harder time making that outside lane work, but we'll hope that it does have a little bit more juice left in it for a side-by-side battle. Just outside of the top 10 there, you can see Jason Taylor, who has worked himself into the top 10 there, currently running in 9th, but you have Alford going side by side with Belk. Other than that, everybody in single file formation, coming to 43 laps to go. Everyone can make it to the end on fuel, if indeed we run green.
Yeah, they should have no worries about fuel. The only reason they would pit would be if we were to get a caution and they happen to have a set of tires over the wall that would give them a pretty big advantage. But for the time being, if it stays green, you're not going to see anybody coming back down pit road. It's going to be all asphalt all the way to the end of this race. Lap 158 coming to 159. It's winding down. SOB on equal footing, equal tires, not quite able to keep pace with Derek Heitman, and this is what we saw in that last stint, just pulling away from it. I don't know what he did different with his setup or what he's doing different to drive this track, but whatever it is working out big time. He's already out to half a second lead. You can see lap time differential there, 30.8 for the race leader, 30.9 for SOB, 30.9 for Hoytsma, Benefiel, Simmons, pretty much everybody back until Zosiak. He ran a 30.8, so he's actually running almost as fast as our leader. And then you got some really fast laps into the 7s. Ben Tracy with a 30.8, but Jason Taylor, Matt DeCiani, Edward Foster, all these drivers into the 7s, so maybe a little bit of draft help.
Yeah, it could very well be the case, particularly here early in the run where we do have maximum grip, as I said, with the fresh tires and, of course, the track temp being that much lower. So these guys are going to, again, have a little bit more trouble prying off the bottom because the bottom is going to be a little bit more advantageous now. All the grip slipping it may have offered will no longer be, but we do have Adam Benefiel. While we were looking at that other battle, he snuck himself up to 3rd. Got by SOB, got by Dan Simmons there. SOB nearly in the back of Dan Simmons. But Benefiel, he is going to be right on that back bumper of the 07. He's been battling that 07 hard in D1 all season for these wins, and it's a good little practice duel between the two of them, but unfortunately it's a second and a half behind the lead.
Yeah, when they got battling, that immediately allowed Heitman to extend his lead by a few tenths. And that kind of shows how important it is to have clean air, clean track. Matt DeCiani way to the bottom of the track, down through the grass almost, picked up another position. So he's currently running P8 right behind Zosiak. And now SOB falling through the grid, trying to fight back for that 4th place position, trying to take it from Dan Simmons. But Dan did a really good job there holding his line. Oh boy, 3 wide.
Nearly 4. Very brief moment there. Jason Taylor right in the middle. The shoe on the bottom. That's Pat Gitter down on the bottom. Not sure what he's doing all the way back there, but he's trying to get himself back situated. But it's very hard to enter the corner that low. You don't have any kind of angle to help with the speed on entry of the corner there, but Jason Taylor gonna try to suffice as best he can to shoot to the outside. That's Kibby Alford back there in 11, so that is a big group of cars. Damara is trying to scrape the right side of the car off there, doing a successful job of doing that there back in 18th.
Yeah, but you know, at least he's not adding any paint to the walls, according to iRacing. So definitely riding that safer barrier, maybe doing a little bit of damage to the car, but nonetheless, something is just not. Sean O'Brien's car is so bad on these short runs. A little bit of contact there, sending him down to the apron, but there's something about the short run. That 24 is not having it. Get to the long run, he's got good speed, but man, these short runs, dirty air, he is just plummeting.
Well, it's kind of a combination where there's a certain point, and some drivers like myself struggle with this, where if you have a long run car, you have to save the tires, but at the same time, you have to stay close enough to be able to use the long run car, and it's such a fine balance here as he's going to take a look 3 wide underneath Zodiac and Gitter. It is such a balance between using the car when it's good, but not falling so far back that it's useless to be good.
Yeah, you can't save too much. That's the thing. If you're 5 seconds back from the leader, and by the time that your car starts to come in, there's no guarantee that you're going to get to him. And even if you do, absolutely no guarantee that you're going to pass him. So you got to try to walk a very fine line where you're conserving a little bit and you're just a little bit off pace, but you can't let yourself get too much slack. You can't fall too far through the field. And SOB went from second on this restart all the way back to 7th so far. And now Zodiac is actually looking to make a move here. He's got a really good run on the high side, and Sean's going to try to throw a bit of a block, and it was just a little bit too late. Here comes Kevin on the high side. That 37 machine rolling through the corner. He's going to get alongside the 24. No problem. He might actually get up through Patrick Gitter as well. And that's going to be another caution on the speedway on the night. Trying to identify exactly what happened there. Still on pit road.
Ben Tracy, it looks to be. Oh, yeah. Tracy and Belk here, as we will find out here on the American ethanol, whatever that is, ethanol. Loose there on the bottom, and a lot looser with a little bit of contact there to send them around, but luckily there is about 75 acres worth of pavement there to the inside, as you can see here at Pocono, or wherever we are, and he was able to save that car.
Yeah, I mean, Pocono, Kansas, there's a lot of green in both places.
American ethanol green.
Yeah.
We're pushing midnight here, so my brain does start to get a little sleepy at this hour. So in DeCunha, Mikey, we are at the wrong track. But this is a very pivotal moment in the race where, you know, we always say there's one strategy set per race of when do you use it, who has it. And we have at least 3 takers there.
All right. Hear me out on this, Corey. We add another flat turn to Kansas, and we've got Kansas.
I mean, it depends what methodology of corner numbering do you want to do? Do you just want to make the tri-oval be a corner number?
Well, we'd have to make it a lot sharper. I wouldn't consider that a corner. As I mean, we could angle it in, you know.
You know, there was a whole kerfuffle that I was a part of on Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry, X, of whether Nazareth should be rescanned for iRacing. That was almost a Pocono.
Oh, absolutely. I am all in favor of Nazareth getting scanned. In fact, I still think Nazareth was a better track than North Wilkesboro, and just because Dale Jr. Has a bias for a racetrack, he gets all the attention. He gets brought back from the brink, but you know.
The only thing is now North Wilkesboro was at least vaguely upkept. They literally dug like 8 or 9 trenches into the asphalt there so the guys couldn't run laps that trees have since grown in. So it wouldn't be taking a weed whacker crew there. You'd literally have to hire about 10 tree cutting companies, then weed whack, then bushwhack, and then still have to fudge half of the scan. So the only way Nazareth's ever coming is if it's a full 100% fictitious effort, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and they could do a fictitious effort. I wouldn't see a problem with that. In fact, I've always wondered why iRacing, when they can't get the rights to a track, why they don't necessarily just make a fantasy version, call it All-State Speedway, whatever you want to do. Dale Jr. Speedway, whatever.
Because they're not getting the rights for Nazareth, because they don't want anything for that track to ever be remembered as a racetrack. So it would basically be Pennsylvania Raceplex or something.
Yeah, because like some tracks you can understand because they might get the rights later on, and then like, well, we basically already have the track. What do we do now? But with Nazareth, you're right, because once Pocono became a thing, and they wanted to make sure that it stayed a thing, they basically had to eliminate the competition, which meant buying out Pocono and just demolishing everything to do with it. So it's never coming back. They're never getting the rights. They could absolutely do a fantasy track version of it.
Yeah, because I think it's sustained, and you would obviously know this in high detail. I think it's sustained in every NASCAR game up until the death of EA NASCAR games. It managed to be some sponsored speedway, like the Rockingham turned into like Hawaii Speedway or something.
Well, Nazareth was interesting because it actually never even got renamed. It just stayed in Nazareth.
Yeah, because it didn't matter.
It was abandoned. Yeah.
But then you had Rockingham turn into Hawaii there, which I watched a video to refresh my memory. It looked so out of place.
It was weird. The mountains in the background looked like something more out of like a Tony Hawk game than they did like NASCAR. It was interesting.
So, watching chat here, we got Dyson here, who didn't race here today. Says Nazareth would be fun, and he also thinks the tune under the commercials that Damaris put into the little ad is catchy. And I do agree. I kind of want to know what it was, because I could bop to that myself. But taking a look at the scenario at hand here, our top 13 drivers stayed out. Pat Gitter in 14th is the first one, presumably on fresh tires, his fourth and only set. And last set, most everybody else still going to have a strategy set, but will they have the opportunity to use it? And how important will those 4 fresh tires for Gitter be? You have Gitter, Thompson, Drumhiller, Foster, Llewellyn, and Tracy all on those older tires as well. But here we come back for the green flag. Let's get back to racing with 28 laps to go here at Kansas.
And another good jump for race leader Derek Heitman. No surprise there. Benefield's going to slide up into second place. Lucas Hoytsma third. And it looks like SOB going to be side by side with Zodiac once again down the back straightaway for position. See what he can do on this top lane against the safer barrier. He's going to get a good run here. May be able to do something with Zodiac, but he's got more cars in front of him that are going to be blocking him in, so that's not ideal in the slightest. And he's getting a pretty good run. He might have something. Maybe he's figuring out that, hey, on this short run, my car likes to be up top. That's where I need to be. But in the meantime, everybody else just kind of rolling that bottom, trying to save a little bit of tire. Matt DeCiani just on the edge of frame. There's DeMar Bottom, who pretty much knocked down this whole safer barrier through 3 and 4. He seems to be all right.
Let's see here, Andre. Gitter all the way up to 10th. He is the first driver on the fresh tires. So he has already gained about 5 spots in 2 laps.
And that is a bold play, using your strategy set a little bit early, because he's kind of banking on the fact that this will stay green to the end. He'll have a tire advantage all the way. But if they get a caution, and some of these drivers who did not use their strategy set come down pit road, that is going to spell disaster for him. So cashing in his chips early and hoping that it works out.
Yeah, exactly that. You can see 17 laps fresher tires. Now, let's translate that to lap time. So look at Gitter down there in 10th. He ran a 62. Well, actually, look at Heitman, 62. Look at Benefield, a 55. So clearly those tires not meaning too much yet, but in the scope of who he's racing, running a little bit faster. But let's take a look up front, because clearly Benefield, as we just saw with the lap times, has something to play with. But Heitman doing what he did a little bit earlier with, can't remember who it was, but I think it may have been Gitter, but he's kind of doing the arrow game, which is what Logano had to do a few years ago. You just kind of take a good guess as to where the guy behind you is going to run, and you try to run there, take the air off, and for the most part, if you do that successfully, they really can't pass you, barring a mistake or a real forced move.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a mind game. You got to change your lines up and do what you can. But Adam Benefield with a great run around the bottom. This is the first time we've seen anybody able to challenge Heitman. He's not just going to challenge him. He may well take it through turn one, forcing the issue there. Getting a little bit tight up on the door. He's clear here, but I don't think you're going to see him slide up quite yet. There it is on corner exit. So taking a good arc through the corner. Heitman's got to run here. He could try to take a bit of a crossover, but contact. Oh boy! Oh boy!
We're still going. Oh, now we're dead. Now your guy's involved.
Yep. Well,
things happen. Oh,
yeah.
We're still going. We're still going. We got the shoe involved. We got Ben Tracy involved.
All I can say is there's going to be some hauler meetings after this. Instant replay. Take a look at it from a different angle. We saw it from the back bumper, closest camera we could have had. Looks like the 83 just running his line and...
Did he guess lanes too late, or was Heitman a little...
I think Heitman was a little bit wishy-washy there, and then I think Heitman just didn't let off the throttle. So, I mean... I mean, even if you could say Adam was to blame for the initial contact, I don't know why Heitman...
Now, why did Ben Tracy have issues? Let's take a look here.
That is interesting. Let's find out how he got involved, or if it was completely separate. That does happen sometimes. Just a bit of a checkup out of Drumhiller there, and then Damaris gets involved. A lot of cars in this pile-up late into the race.
So that gives now Pat Gitter has taken the lead at the moment because Heitman is in the pits here, along with about 6 or 7 others, perhaps a couple more if I count properly. So we'll see how this shakes out. So we'll pull up the stints one more time so you can get a scope of where everybody stands right now in terms of the tire ball game. So 10 laps for Gitter, 27, and then 10, 10, 27. Well, that's kind of a little scatter there. And then you go back to the Drumhammer. But Drumhammer only took fuel only a 3-second pit stop, so it's going to be Dan Simmons, from all the data I have available, has the first set of fresh tires.
So that could be a huge,
And then
huge
SOB.
factor.
Damaris had a 9.7, so he must have only had 2 tires available, or chose to take 2 tires for some...
And I would imagine Damaris had to take a safe, quick repair there as well, because he got a pretty good wall-up in that incident, and I don't see a scratch on that car. Yep, fast repair, 1. Pretty sure he used it there and not earlier in the race, but I could be wrong. It's happened more than a time or two. Patrick Gitter out front. Now that's scary news for everybody behind him, because Patrick's been pretty quick tonight. He just kind of got marred in the field. Sometimes when that happens, even if you are the fastest guy on the track, it's not super easy to get back up front and recover. So we'll see what he can do with the clean air. Nick Alford, again, the guy we've seen all over the field. Front, back, middle, 3 wide, 4 wide, 2 wide. He's been everywhere. He's like Johnny Cash. And now back up front in second place. So got some interesting names up front.
Well, hopefully he's not like Jimmy Buffett in 6 feet under.
Yeah. Too soon.
Or Bob Barker. I've been watching way too much Price is Right lately, because this is how I know if you're a people person or not. Because if you could watch The Price is Right and watch somebody win $20,000 or make a terrible decision and lose $20,000, that's how you know you're a people person. Because I could watch that show as if it's my own personal money on the line. And I've been watching way too much for RIP Bob Barker as well.
Yeah, I went through a game show phase like probably about a decade ago. I was like 13. I was on summer vacation, and my family all worked, so I would wake up in an empty house. I would just sit down, like 8 in the morning, my cup of coffee, and I would just watch old game show reruns for like 3 hours. And everybody made fun of me for it. They said I was like 60 years old. But, joke's on them. The game shows were pretty good.
And at least the Price is Right teaches you about inflation, because when you watch an old Price is Right clip from like 2001, what do you mean that can of corn was only 39 cents?
Yeah, well, that and like the prizes from those old game shows, like
a car on the Price is Right in 1974 was $2,000.
Yeah, well, even like not even that long ago, my buddy and I, we've been watching Fear Factor, and the grand prize on that show in 2004 was like 50 grand. And I'm sitting there thinking, I ain't doing any of this stuff for 50,000. And then I typed it into an inflation calculator. It was almost 100 grand today. So I'm like,
Family Feud's only still giving away $20,000 now. That's basically chat change for 5 people. But but either way, let's get back to a 20 lap to go restart here in the D2 300 miler here at the Kansas Speedway. Green flag back in the air. Gitter's going to get that jump. Now the fresh tires back there in the 7th, 8th position approximately, but we do have different tires all throughout the top 10, but Gitter is going to try and get those 13 lap old tires out to the biggest lead possible, and Alfred and Thompson dooring each other down there for second.
Yeah, that was a big moment there, a little bit of contact, which allowed Patrick Gitter to kind of slide up to a 0.6 of a second lead. Looks like the 67 will take second place after that bit of a scuffle. Behind him, Nick Alfred, Edward Foster. Ed Foster's kind of been a sleeper today. We've seen some speed. We've seen him make some pretty impressive moves. He just hasn't led any laps, so we'll see what that 35 has in the closing laps here. 18 to go. SOB with a big slide. We've seen that a time or two. Behind him, Jason S. Taylor looking to capitalize on that. Jason, of course, led earlier in this race, but after his issue with Chad Gunningsman, he was not able to get back out front until now. So it's taken him a while, something to the tune of, 150 laps, but he's finally up inside the top 5. We'll see if he can pick off a few more. The 89 in the wall, that should be another one for Jason as well, if he can capitalize. The 89 had to give a big lift, and that is going to put them side by side.
Up side by side, indeed. Heading down into corner number 3, Alfred to the top, and Taylor to the bottom here, and I think he'll have enough to clear. He will shut the door, and he wouldn't. It wasn't too close. Had a little bit of space to spare there. As we go back through the rest of the top 10, you have O'Brien there, who is going to try to go and swap positions there. Now go to the bottom of the track on Alfred. There's another caution. We'll wave here. Cautions aplenty here in stage 3. It looks like it's going to be the Bitcoin Mobile DL Lemon.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay here. So they were 3 wide, and one was coming up, one was going down, and then DL Lemon went for a ride, took Ben Tracy with him.
That was pretty low there. It's like, now, there's pause in this here, so I mean, I don't know why you'd want to run that seam.
Well, and he was still going down, too. I mean, was he trying to enter the corner on the apron?
Now, the spotter, in fairness, the spotter does not make calls to a car who's not on the direct racing surface. So maybe, depending on his equipment situation, he may not have even had the slightest idea that there was a car on the apron there. Yeah,
but I still don't understand why he was that far down going into the corner, because
trying to get benefit of the doubt, Andre. Trying to get benefit of the doubt. I'm not good at doing that, but I actually was able to find some of it right there.
I mean, I like to give benefit of the doubt when it's conceivable. I'm a little bit confused by that one. Not to say that it was on purpose. I'm not saying he wrecked him intentionally. I don't think he did. I'm just really confused about the lines chosen. That's all. Yeah,
because typically you want to run going out here. Well, not in the grandstands, but you don't want to run down here because it doesn't give you an entry. And we've seen a couple guys be detrimented by that on their corner entry. You take a 3 wide move into 1, you're all the way down there on that white line. You have to slow down more and put more wheel into it, into turn number 1 to make the entry. And at that point, you've lost everything that you're trying to gain.
Yeah, it's not the ideal line, especially if you're on slightly older tires. So I don't really advise using that line. But yeah, the spotter does not make calls. So for both those drivers, the driver on the apron, the driver up top, I don't think their spotters were saying much of anything. And speaking of spotters, they did add a new thing to iRacing, which I feel like it only serves to make things more difficult. but you can actually change the way the spotter sounds and emulate the muffling of wearing a helmet or the compression of like a bad radio, and basically just make the whole thing a little bit more muffled, which is cool because it's realistic and everything. But I think the last thing iRacing needed was for drivers to hear less of their spotter.
The one thing that they did change in the positive direction is the spotter will now inform the driver of the damage that they have, kind of the state of their vehicle, what is going to get repaired on the pit stop, and then after the pit stop, it'll let the driver know what the damaged state of the car still is. So those are all things that I'm not looking forward to trying out because that would mean bad stuff happen, but at least from that perspective, that could be some good news for these drivers, having a little bit of more knowledge if you don't have a live spotter, how your car may be faring.
Yeah, that is good information to have generally, because you then don't really have to guess like, oh, what's the car going to do after I knocked the wall down? And see, well, he's going to tell you what damage you have and kind of infer how the car is going to respond to that. So you also kind of know, hey, how long am I going to have to spend on pit road? If you got just a little bit of body damage, well, you're not going to be spending much time at all. But if you've been a tow link, well, then you might just be down there the rest of the night. So it's good information to have, and it's cool that they are kind of updating and upgrading how the radio works. I know I was watching my buddy make some laps with the helmet muffling, and the way that the car sounded was really interesting. It was very realistic. But again, I feel like not many drivers are going to use that option where they hear the world as being more muffled, because in iRacing, a lot of these guys, to compensate for the lack of like actual like physical seat of your pants feel, they use audio, and they're listening to their tires, and they're listening to the track, and they're listening to everything around them. And when you muffle that, it makes it a lot harder to tell what's going on. You don't get that feedback from the car. So I can't imagine too many people are going to use that unless they're just hardcore sim racers and they want it to be as realistic as possible. But still, it's neat that they're adding it.
Yeah, I mean, the sound guy busy on iRacing, still waiting on reverb, the sound bouncing off of walls and kind of creating that echo effect. So it is hashtag soon, but good to know that they are making some big improvements. Of course, from the road side, a lot of updates, a lot of cars, a lot of tracks. The oval side, we did get Kern County, both asphalt and dirt, of course, with no lights. The new 87 car, and hopefully some new stuff to follow with the dynamic track systems, but that's all here nor there, because what we have now is 11 laps to go. Pat Gitter, Thompson, and Foster out there on 20-lap tires. You have Jason Taylor there outside of row number 2, 10-lap tires, and I think the freshest of anybody who has pit, so that is big news for him. But Gitter's going to get a really good jump on the field. Second row was sleeping there by far, and the green flag will fly back in the air.
Yeah, Gitter out to about a 4-car length lead. Maybe a little bit more. His contact behind him, that's going to be big. He's coming back up the track.
Yeah,
I don't know how he saved that, but he's going to keep it going.
You got your soundboard up?
I do not, but he's just that daggone good, I guess. He got that thing brought back around. Now he's got to watch it. He's got hot tires now. He did a lot of gliding.
Jeepers creepers. Come on, I want to finish the screen, boys.
Oh, he's still 3 wide. He's got hot tires. He's going to have to be very careful here. They're 3 wide all through the field. He got Wayne Grassy right behind. That's 3 wide, 2 rows deep.
Yeah, a drone cam flyer definitely got his certification to be able to cover this. Let's go almost 4 wide. Let's wreck.
And that's going to be it. That's another caution.
And entering turn number 3, it's Grassy and Thompson. We did get the benefit of watching that majority live, so we'll watch it again just because, well, that's what we do. Let's see here, this is a little early here, coming through 3 and 4. You can see them being in the middle. Now coming off of the 2 here down the back straightaway, you're going to see Grassy on the back right. Oh, the 67, I think he got loose, and then he just never was able to save it, and Wade was just kind of an innocent bystander there. Well, let's just go back and just see. Did he just... Oh, so... Oh, he kind of got stuck in the ping pong almost 4 wide there. That is why the car got out of shape.
Yeah, that was 4 wide, and you can't really make that work too often. So unfortunate for the 67, but we're just going to have to rack them up, do it all again. Again, I don't really expect anybody to come down pit road. Everybody's pretty much used their ace in the hole. They've used their strategy set, as we just had a caution a few laps ago. While we wait for the drop of the green, we'll throw it to a break one last time, and we'll be back for the, hopefully, final restart of the race. Stay tuned.
And we're back here once again for yet another restart here, 100% D2 Cup Series here, with coming to 5 laps to go. We'll just get a scope here of our situation here. You can see that as the last lap on the left side of your screen of when everybody pit. 26 laps, 16, 16, 26. A couple all the way back at the back who did pit, but I don't know if they had tires here. So it'll be interesting to see if those tires do mean anything. Jason Taylor, who led some laps earlier on, had an incident, dropped back. Now he's on the freshest set of tires of anybody, and he's in position to win this thing, Andre.
Yeah, he's got a really good shot at it. We'll see if he can make something of it. It's going to be 5 to go when the green flag waves, so it's going to be a dash to the finish. No time to wait around, no time for strategy. If you're going to make your move, make it as quick as you can. And speaking of going as quick as you can, Patrick Gitter, as soon as they reached that Geico restart zone, got on that throttle, got out to a decent lead, but behind him, you got teammates, SOB, Jason Taylor, second and third. They're going to slot in single file. Let's see what that 41 does down the back straightaway. It's going to close in on that 24 just a little bit. Patrick Gitter still comfortable with 2 car lengths into 3 and 4. Behind these 3, Ed Foster is going to sail it on that high side. He's got the drum hammer right on the outside lane. He's going to try to get around him, but not quite able to get there yet. Now for the lead, SOB got a huge run out of turn 4. That's going to get him down to the bottom of the track, side by side with the 21 for first place. And the 41, Jason Taylor, he's trying to choose who am I going to go with.
He's going to help him.
He's going to go with the teammate. He's going to give him a little bit of help here. Then back to the top. Can he do it?
All coming down to 3 and 4. Get her all the way to the top. Not quite in the fence. Managed to keep it off, but didn't keep the momentum up. SOB is going to 99% clear. Couldn't quite 100% clear. Maybe he can now. And he will shut the door. Sean O'Brien Jr. just about got himself turned there because he shut the door on Jedi entering turn 1.
Shut the door on both of them. Went up the track to block the 21, then came down to block Jason. Now look at this. The 21, Patrick Getter, not going to be denied that easily. He's going to get back to the bottom. A little bit of contact maybe. Nope, not yet. They're able to sort it out. That's how you do it right there. You know, could have had a situation like we had earlier, but these guys racing with respect and doing it right. So 3 laps to go. SOB still in the lead, but Patrick Getter, I don't think he's going to fall away from this.
Oh, look at Jason Taylor up top.
Oh, he's sending it. The 24 couldn't block it. He is side by side for the lead. 41's got the preferred lane, rocketing around that outside. Let's see if he can get the lead.
Yeah, he used that top, and I couldn't believe that Sean didn't catch onto it and try to protect it as advantageous as it is. But coming down to the white flag lap, let's see if he can get in line in front of Gitter. Gitter's going to go to the top of the racetrack and try to get that second spot. He's going to be able to do so, but now here comes SOB down to the bottom, but that top's going to have the momentum. Here comes Gitter. He's going to get loose. Into the fence goes SOB. That should be the icing on the cake for Jason.
Yeah, that should be all she wrote. The race is official. Doesn't have to worry about anything happening behind him. Just has to try to get to the stripe if he can do it. And out of turn 4, Jason Strategy Taylor is going to win the race after a topsy-turvy night. Patrick Gitter concedes second place, maybe? Nope, he gets second place from SOB. I believe.
SOB back to 5th there, the way that it worked out.
That's really strange. I wonder if he got some sort of penalty there.
Well, let's we'll go back and take a look there. Yeah, so yeah, he got it put in the fence there, lost all of his momentum, and this is the actual run down to the checkers. You could see Foster and DeCunha drumhammer, and he was just doing all he could to salvage it, but he's going to put it all back down to, he gave him the top in 1 and 2, and that seemed to be the defining factor there that took him on out of it. But the one person who is advantageous to that is our race winner of Jedi, Jason Taylor.
He's going to throw up some smoke and celebrate a D2 win with his teammate. So they probably feeling pretty confident going into the Cup race tomorrow. That's for sure. Seem to have a pretty good setup underneath of them. They faced some pretty good competition and came out on top. Final race results. Jason Taylor takes the race win. Patrick Getter P2, Edward Foster, Matt DeCunha, Sean O'Brien Jr., Randy Drumhiller with a solid top 10. Adam Benefield tried to do last to first. It was last to 7th. And Daniel is going to be in 8th place. Kevin Zosiak is going to be P9. Running out your top 10 is going to be Chad Kibbe.
And then 11th through 20th, we find Nick Alford in 11th. Wade Grassi had a fast car, just bad luck back to 12th. Cam King in 13th, Dan Simmons in 14th. Lucas Hoitzma, he had an up and down day, back to 15th to finish this out. Heitman in 16th, led the most laps, dominated, just did not work in his favor. Then you have Belk, Gunnigsbin, Llewellyn, and Ben Tracy. 20th was not where he ran all race, but that's where he's stuck tonight.
And running out the rest of the field outside of 20th, D.L. Lemon, Stephen Thompson, Damar Sickenbottom, Clifton Cockrell, Corey Harville, Jeff Souza, Christopher Melton, Pedro Palladino, Jamie Knopf, Michael Deitch was 203 laps down in a 200-lap event. How does that work? Did he go backwards 3 times?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a green-white checker, so let's just defy physics there to the ultimate capacity, but we have our guys ready to go. We are running about a half hour beyond TV time, so let's head right back into Victory Circle here, where Andre has caught up with our race winner.
Jason Taylor, you get a copy?
Hey!
Well, Jason, it was an interesting race. For a while, we thought you might be dealing with some damage because you kind of fell through the field and you weren't really showing the pace you had early on, but some cautions got you back with the field, and it seems like you got that damage fixed up. And it was a crazy battle there. I mean, battling with Sean, battling with Patrick Gitter. Just walk me through the end of that race.
Yeah, I knew we had the tires on Patrick, so we knew we were going to get there. It was just a matter of how fast we were going to do it. The first caution with about 10 or 15 to go, we went in and got the tires, and it worked out. Sean overcooked it into 3, cost himself a win or possible podium, but it is what it is. And Black Flag Apex, baby, let's go!
So do you feel like with this win and then with these 200 laps under your belt that you've learned something you might be able to put to use tomorrow?
Yeah, I know we got a short run car and a long run car, so we gotta work on bringing the right car to the track tomorrow for the type of race it's going to be.
And what's your prediction? What kind of race do you think it's going to be?
I'm going to go with long run. Long run. It'll probably be a long run at the end there.
All right, I digress. I think you're wrong, but we'll see, Jason. Either case, congratulations on a hard-fought win. Definitely well-earned. And, yeah, that was a great show to watch from up in the booth. Any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Thanks to Untied, Retinal Chevrolet, or Ford, actually. Hello. And Apex, Big Man Kev, always putting it out there, putting great schemes. My boys back at the shop, Sean, John, and rest in peace, Cam. And your boy did it!
All right. Well, again, congratulations on a win, and we will see you tomorrow, Jason.
Adam Benefield, I'm coming for you.
Calling his shot, coming for Adam Benefield. Let's head on down to second place, where Corey has caught up with Patrick Gitter.
All right, Pat, the tires they weren't the best there, but you definitely still had a good enough car, I think, to be able to do it, but the outside seemed to be powerful, and Jason just managed to make the right moves at the right time. And was it the tires ultimately, or did something else kind of get in your way there?
I don't think so. I think it was just 2-on-1. I knew Jason and Sean were going to be working together there at the end, so it was just going to be me trying to figure out where I could find a hole and try to anticipate what they were going to do. So it wasn't really that much of a surprise once I saw them around me there at the end.
Yeah, so we saw this race turn out kind of a bunch of different ways. We saw some pack racing. We saw Derek just jet out there and drive off into no man's land, just dominating. And then we saw a lot of aero blocking and stuff going on. So ultimately, like, how do you kind of gauge this race between kind of all the different spectrums that it could be between pack racing, aero racing, strategy racing? It seems to have a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, I think it's honestly, I think it's going to vary race to race depending on who you're up against. I think in this race early on, I think guys are kind of figuring out what kind of cars they had, what kind of sets they had, and at the end, I think, especially when we came, after stage 2, that first on green flag run, I noticed guys were a lot slower on their pace early. So I feel like they were saving tire a lot more earlier, but it just depends. It depends on what stage you are in the run. I know like Derek did a fantastic job of controlling lanes when it was he and I at the end of stage 2 trying to race for a win there. So it just depends on where you're at in the stage, who you're around.
Yeah, and of course, coming into tomorrow night, I'd say this probably is one of the most helpful D2 races to run, because distance-wise, you're only really one fuel stop short of a full cup race here. So does this give you a lot of confidence of the tweaks and turns to make for tomorrow night being as similar of a race length as it is?
I think so. I think there's still some work to do on the car. It feels pretty good, but I think there's some tweaks that we're going to test on tomorrow during the day, try to see what we can do to kind of balance it out. I felt like we had a solid car all race. It just, there at the end, would have liked to have a little bit more speed there at the end against Sean and Jason, but also, trying to keep in mind too that it was just me against 2 teammates, and nothing against them for that. That's just kind of how it broke out, and expected it to. So.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see. You got some good strategy, you got some good speed, and you'll tweak on it. We'll see what we can do tomorrow night. Congrats.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. I'll give a shout out to EPI and Team Conti for the set this week. Justin Brooks Designs, he did this car for me tonight. It's a new one. Shout out to him and Martin PC, and thanks to you guys in the booth. We appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, man. Congrats. Talk to you tomorrow.
10-4.
Now, Andre has caught up with third place here. I don't know why his graphics don't work, but Ed Foster.
Mr. Foster, you got a copy? Ed Foster, you got a copy? It's Andre up in the booth.
I've got all the copies, mate. Want to buy one?
All right. Well, Ed, earlier in the broadcast, I called you kind of a sleeper pick. I saw a lot of speed under the hood of that 35. You made some really impressive overtakes, and I thought you might have a podium ahead of you. And, well, you did it. You got up there into the top 3, had a really good run tonight. Tell me a little bit about it.
Started off a bit dodgy because I had iRacing froze up when the race session loaded. I wasn't able to get in, so I had to disconnect out, reconnect in, and then by the time I came back in, I was stuck starting from the pit lane. So ended up kind of half a lap behind everyone, and luckily we got that early caution. From there we were able to just make our way through. Was kind of running up that high side. I was a bit surprised that not more people were doing that. I was pretty happy up there, and it was just a case of trying to work on the car throughout. It started out really, really loose, and even at the end of the race, I didn't have any really good tyre life. I'm just kind of lucky the way the cautions played out. I saw the caution come out with about 30 odd to go. So I came down the lane, got fresh tyres, knowing that sort of after about 35 laps, that was about as far as my tyres were going to go before things got real sketchy, and managed to sort of work it out from there. So it was all good.
That it was. Again, congratulations on a podium. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Just shout-outs to obviously everyone who comes out and runs this series. It's so good, the way that everybody just, they'll give you an inch. They'll give you a car width plus an inch to work in, but not a little bit more than you need. So everyone races real hard, but it's real clean at the same time. So the rare occasions I'm able to get out here, I'm having a blast with it. And just shouts out to Neil Pearson. I'm pretty sure it's a big weekend for him. I think I'm right in saying he's getting married this weekend. I could be wrong, but I think he is. So if he is, shouts out to him as well.
All right. Congratulations to him, and congratulations to you on the podium. We'll be seeing you around.
Thanks, man. Bye.
And that is going to do it for the post-race interviews. And that was, kind of an unpredictable race there, Corey. I think at the start we were kind of expecting a lot of green flag runs, and then, racing did what racing does, and when that checkered flag got a little closer, these guys got crazy.
Yeah, they did. Kind of turned a little bit feisty towards the end, but a good finish there. And Jason Taylor, I don't think it's the first D2 win he's had this season, but we'll see if he can carry over tomorrow night. So make sure you stay tuned to the 100% Cup Series YouTube channel. We'll be there tomorrow night with the broadcast over there, so stay tuned. It'll be Corey, Andre, and I think Jeff will be helping us out with the calls over there. But that's Corey and Andre signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.